All right, good Monday morning, folks. William Cole here in the Forecast Center. This is an Oklahoma weather alert. We are tracking, well, a winter storm that's now unfolding across parts of Oklahoma. The very latest here from the National Weather Service. We do have travelers advisories in effect for northern central Oklahoma. It does include the Oklahoma City metro, and we still continue with winter storm warnings up across portions of northwestern Oklahoma. And again, we do have really snow in progress across a good portion of Oklahoma. And again, we're going to take a closer look at that as well coming up here momentarily. Here's what I want to do while we get radar punched up here. We've got our team of trackers. They're out and about this morning as well. And we're going to check in with them first of all. And then, like I said, we'll kind of do a radar review of what's going on around central Oklahoma, what's going on around western Oklahoma, because there have been locations, at least some reports out in western Oklahoma, of possibly 6 inches of snow already. We'll also take a look at those road conditions momentarily as well. So here's what I want to do. Let's go and dip out to western Oklahoma here. First of all, this is where Mike Russ is. And again, Mike, you're out there around the Weatherford area. Go ahead and give us an update and tell us what's going on roadways out there.
Yes, William. I am exactly in Weatherford, Oklahoma here. And I can tell you it is a slushy mess on the side roads. About the only road that's not that bad right now is I-40. But traffic is definitely keeping down relative good speeds. They've slowed it down quite a bit. North and south roads, William, are just completely white out here, especially out in the county and stuff. In-town isn't too bad. It's very slushy. But I would also say one of the things that's kind of interesting out here is I probably had about 4 inches of snow caked onto my truck. On some of the grassy surfaces. But the problem is, William, is like the grassy surfaces are not going to be real accurate on the snowfall amounts that we have received because ground temperatures are still a little above freezing. So some of that snow has melted on the lower levels here. But, William, I can tell you it is a wet, heavy snow. It is going to be very slick and dangerous as you start your morning commute. Go ahead and just please give yourself time, take it slow. Out here in western Oklahoma, we're watching everybody kind of take it slow out here, and that's great. So far, the roads are passable, but they are slick and very slushy. So again, I'm out here taking it extremely slow right now, being very careful as I bring you these reports, William.
Okay, Mike, really appreciate that update. Great job. And again, you can see there's definitely been some accumulating snow out there in western Oklahoma. Again, there's been a couple reports we got of possibly 6 inches of snow, again, out there across portions of west central Oklahoma. And you can see there is at least even some slushy spots there, like Mike mentioned on the roadways as well. We'll check the road conditions coming up here momentarily. I also want to go and take a look at Aaron Spencer's live feed. Now, Aaron, you're in central Oklahoma. We're looking at your live shot here. Give us an update because snow continues to fall. You're on the northern sides of the metro. Tell us where you are now and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We are on I-35 south right now, heading towards the Edmond area. Haven't seen any wrecks or anything like that yet this morning, but that could definitely change as this winter weather keeps on coming through the Oklahoma City metro. But as of right now, the roads are at kind of that slushy state just because of, all the heating that's still going on because, like Mike said, the temperatures are still just a little bit above freezing, especially on the roadways because of all the friction with the cars and keeping the roads warm. But, there are going to be some slick spots, especially on the overpasses and bridges. So definitely don't want to think just because it's melting on the roadway right now doesn't mean that the bridges and overpasses aren't going to be slick. So definitely take caution whenever you're going over those, and just all in general whenever you're on the road. Definitely make sure of your surroundings so you don't cause an accident with yourself or somebody else on the roadway. William, back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, really appreciate that update right there. What I want to do, we'll do a radar tour here, and then we're going to get back to the trackers again coming up here just momentarily. We'll also kind of give you an update on what's going on as far as the road conditions go as well. So large area of snow building in, and again, you can see that there across portions of north central Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, and still continues even across portions of western Oklahoma as we go through the morning into at least the early afternoon. The snow is going to continue, and again, especially where you're seeing the areas of dark blue there, especially right here in central Oklahoma. Again, that is moderate to at times some heavy snow that continues to fall. So again, snowfall accumulations, they are going to continue to mount up. Of course, 6 to 7:30, that's generally the morning commute for a lot of folks around central Oklahoma. And again, you can see, even from Aaron's live shot here in central Oklahoma, and also what Mike's seen out there in western Oklahoma, again, right now the roadways primarily are wet, but there are slick spots being reported by ODOT, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. So definitely give yourself time, and also always remember those bridges and overpasses, they cool down much quicker than the actual roadways, and there are slick spots being reported, again, on those bridges and overpasses. So right here in central Oklahoma, we'll zoom this in a little bit more. And again, you can see basically from Edmond all the way down through Norman, again, a steady, moderate snow does continue to fall here. And again, you can see just from the pictures there that snow is accumulating southwestern Oklahoma down around the Lawton area. Snow continues down there as well. Roads are also being reported slick in spots down there in Comanche County. I-44 around the Lawton area, the turnpike down there. Then also out in Weatherford, again, you can see west central Oklahoma, and that's where Mike is. And again, there's actually still a burst of moderate snow out there in the Weatherford area. There's going to be a little bit of a break in the action, but again, you can see there's still more snow moving in there from the west as well. So again, we're still talking about an opportunity for snow as we go through the morning into the early afternoon. I'll show you future radar coming up momentarily. Northwestern Oklahoma, again, winter storm warnings continue up here for portions of Harper County out there into the Oklahoma Panhandle. And again, snow continues to accumulate up in this part of the state as well. We haven't had any confirmed reports, but we are getting at least initial reports, again, of some locations picking up nearly 6 inches of snow up in that part of the state. Again, that's one of the reasons why that winter storm warning is in effect there. Enid back over through Ponca City, I-35 corridor there in north central Oklahoma. You see scattered areas of light to at times some moderate snow. The darker the blue, that would be the more moderate snow. And then even up here around T-Town, for our friends up in the Tulsa metro, it's basically rain changing over to snow right now. So again, expect some travel slowdowns up there around the Tulsa metro as well. We'll zoom this in just a little bit tighter on into portions of central Oklahoma here. And again, like I mentioned, lots of dark blue. And again, all that dark blue right there essentially indicates, again, that opportunity for some moderate to at times some moderately heavy snow. And especially driving into the office this morning down here in Norman, definitely saw some of that moderately heavy snow in progress down here as well. So let's go and talk about road conditions. We'll get back to the trackers again coming up here just momentarily. But let's go and talk about some road conditions around Oklahoma. And as we do that here, again, you can see basically as reported by the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, wide area of slick spots. So it's essentially from southwestern Oklahoma. It does include all of the Oklahoma City metro, northern Oklahoma, up through the Tulsa metro as well. So areas of slick spots, use caution in the yellow for sure. But then notice from Harper County out into the Oklahoma Panhandle, it's red. And that basically means slick and hazardous conditions being reported in the Panhandle, again, where we may have picked up 6 inches of snow out in that part of the state. We'll have another update on this coming in fairly quickly because I would imagine even in portions of western Oklahoma from what we're seeing there with Mike that there could be an opportunity for some slick and hazardous spots even in western Oklahoma as well. Here in central Oklahoma, just to underscore again, definitely remember those overpasses and bridges in central Oklahoma. So downtown Oklahoma City, there's another shot of what we're seeing in downtown Oklahoma City. Whiteout conditions, that's all snow in progress. Moderately heavy snow here. You see, you can't really see anything. So we're talking about whiteout conditions in central Oklahoma. And again, temperatures out there, we're just going to call them downright cold. Generally speaking, 33. So we're essentially just above freezing in central Oklahoma. But we have a burst of cold air coming in. Canadian air is going to come in through the day. So these temperatures you're seeing out there this morning, these are essentially our daytime highs, and those will quickly ease down as we go through the afternoon. I think one of the problems out in western Oklahoma, we are essentially at freezing out there, and that's why we're starting to see more of the travel impacts again out in that part of the state. So lots of 30s in the north. You're currently below freezing, 32 and below. That's where, again, some of the additional travel impacts are going to be. really as we go through the morning. So western, northern Oklahoma, at least right now, here in central Oklahoma, those temperatures will ease down. We're still in the 40s, only a chilly rain down in southeastern Oklahoma here early this morning. So here are the winds. Again, it's a northerly wind. It's aggravating those wind chill factors. And the other part of this, the reason the winds are kicking up from the north, again, we have this additional area of Canadian air. It's going to be moving, or what we call vecting, or blowing on the winds, if you will, down into Oklahoma. So that'll help those temperatures, again, ease down. We're at our daytime highs now, and we're only really in the lower to mid 30s. Those temperatures will ease down, again, as we go through the day. Wind chills are dangerous out there. You see teens across portions of northwestern Oklahoma. We're missing data in the panhandle because the instruments are basically snowed up and they can't move. But out there around Black Mesa, plus 11 for the wind chill factor there. Wind chills in the mid-20s in central Oklahoma, 19 out there around the Yukon area. You see that right there. And then wind chill's not as big of a factor in southeastern Oklahoma. Again, you folks in southeastern Oklahoma, you're going to stay just a little bit too warm, again, to see most of this wintry precipitation. So it'll be a kind of cold, raw day down there with the chilly rain. But again, the wintry precipitation, like I'll show you, basically stays in central Oklahoma and across portions of northeastern Oklahoma. This is essentially as we go through noon today. Again, you can see in central Oklahoma, and again, this activity pushing over into eastern Oklahoma as we go through the day. But again, expect snow to continue through noon today. And we'll go ahead and restart this and play this again. And again, you can see that that snow band will continue to essentially push on off to the east. But as we go through the afternoon, there it is. It basically tapers off and pushes quickly over into eastern Oklahoma by your 5 p.m. commute. It's going to be cold out there. The roadways are still going to be wet, and there could still be some travel impacts. But as far as the active snow goes, by 5 p.m., you can see that's basically cleared central Oklahoma. And even the Tulsa metro, it's essentially pushing there over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. So through noon today, the heaviest snow, it's essentially going to be right here in central Oklahoma. We'll have that band of, well, what's basically moving through right now, moderate to moderately heavy snow. Snow probabilities continue even in western Oklahoma. A little bit of a mixed bag across portions of south central, and then just a chilly rain down across portions of southeastern Oklahoma. Again, temperatures will ease down as we go through the day today. These are high temperatures, but by 5 p.m., those temperatures will be colder. That is absolutely for sure. Again, the snow will continue to push over into eastern Oklahoma, then out of Oklahoma. Again, as we really go through the afternoon, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, be pushing there into eastern Oklahoma and then out of Oklahoma. So here in central Oklahoma, we'll call it a 100% chance of snow through noon today. By 3 p.m., we'll begin to kind of pull those snow probabilities on down. By your evening commute, it's essentially 20% or less. But also notice those temperatures go in reverse as we go through the day today. And by your 5 p.m. evening commute, hovering at only 29 degrees, wind chill factors in the teens and 20s here in central Oklahoma. So absolutely bitterly cold. Keep that in mind. For any reason, you would not want to have a traffic issue, a traffic snarl, because the other thing you have to keep in mind, bitterly and dangerously cold if for any reason you were disabled in your vehicle. So keep that in mind. Definitely make sure you have those blankets in the car today as well. Snowfall projections here. There's going to be a lot of areas that see 1 to 3 inches. 1 to 3 inches of slushy snow. Central Oklahoma to the north, again, 3 to 6 where the winter storm warning is currently in effect. Most of that has kind of fallen overnight last night with some additional lighter snow as we go through at least mid-morning. But again, central Oklahoma, 1 to 3 inches will be fairly common. The southern sides of the metro down here in Norman, there's an opportunity to maybe see 4 inches. We've had some pretty decent snow, again, so far as we've at least gone through the morning hours. Travel impacts, mainly bridges. We'll put that at moderate. Roadways, again, right now we'll put it on the low side, but there will be some slick spots, mainly there. Again, on the bridges and overpasses, definitely keep that in mind. And then also the wind chill factors, those will be not an exaggeration. They will be dangerously cold, again, as we go through the day and especially into this evening and tonight. The other storyline I really want to highlight, besides all the wintry weather as far as snow goes, we're talking about today, as we get into tonight, the big story will be these overnight lows. These temperatures here look for real. These are not wind chill factors. These are air temperature lows from 10 in Ponca City to 24 down in Ardmore. May even need to lower that 17 in central Oklahoma. The skies will clear. We'll have snow on the ground. Northerly winds will continue. It's going to be a bitterly cold night. Could be a record cold night in parts of Oklahoma. Pipe bursting cold there across portions of northern Oklahoma. So keep that in mind as well. Winterize your house for sure. So then as we get into tomorrow, tomorrow will be a better day in the fact the sun returns around the state. You'll like that aspect. And temperatures, they'll still be on the cold side, 30s and 40s, even with some wind chill factors throughout the day as we go through tomorrow, Tuesday. So an evolving forecast as we go through today, tracking the snow, and then tracking the bitterly cold tonight, and then it'll begin to make for a better day as we get into tomorrow. And then essentially the storm system, you see it right there, that will be pulling away from Oklahoma. And really through the rest of your work week, a ridge builds in, temperatures will moderate, and the weather pattern overall will begin to stabilize. So we'll go into more of a typical fall pattern, as opposed to this winter weather pattern that we're currently in right now. But let's do this. Let's go back out to our team of trackers. Let's go, first of all, I want to check in here in central Oklahoma again. Aaron Spencer, I believe you're still on the live line here with us. We're looking at your video here in central Oklahoma. Tell us again exactly what you're seeing out there, and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We are just off of I-35 here in Edmond, looking at the north and southbound lanes. Right now, traffic is moving a little bit slower than you guys normally see it, especially because, we're having this winter weather come through the central parts of Oklahoma. Road conditions are still pretty good. It's kind of that slushy substance, whenever it goes from melting to accumulating. So there's no real slick spots that I've seen yet on the roads. But then again, like I said earlier, definitely pay attention to the overpasses as well as the bridges, because those are going to be, they're going to have lower temperatures than the road or even the ground surfaces. So definitely take in mind of that. Other than that, William, nothing else that we've seen has been really that bad, but, we're going to still be giving you guys updates as the day progresses. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update right there. So let's do this. Let's also talk to our team of trackers out in western Oklahoma. And so we've got Mike Russ here on the live line as well. Mike, we're going to take a look at your live shot. And it looks like out there in western Oklahoma, you're definitely seeing more in the way of accumulating snow. Give us an update out there in western Oklahoma.
Yes, William. In fact, I'm on a side street here in Weatherford. It's not one of our more traveled streets. And hopefully the live shot has caught up with you here. There's just a slight delay, everybody. So hopefully this is showing up. But this road is almost completely white. You can kind of see where some vehicles have traveled early this morning. I can tell you I'm in our new Fast Track 2 unit, which is all-wheel drive, and I am very happy about that on this road. So we are definitely getting accumulating snow out here in western Oklahoma right now. The trees are even being weighed down by this wet, heavy snow. At about 4 a.m. this morning, William, I can tell you the snowflakes were at times $half in size. This is a very heavy, wet snow out here. So we're taking everything very carefully. I believe there's a lot of schools in western Oklahoma and a lot of different events and stuff that are definitely closed this morning now. I know that for a fact. I know a lot of people are off work, or some people are off work today in observance of Veterans Day today. So again, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. Stay at home. I've said it before. Watch your Disney movies, drink your hot cocoa or your coffee, and just kind of enjoy the pictures that we're bringing to you guys of the snow out here right now.
Hey, Mike, really appreciate that update. So, again, that's out in western Oklahoma, out around the Weatherford area. We're going to check back in with Aaron Spencer here in central Oklahoma for an update on the roads. But, Mike, we had a couple reports of maybe some 6-inch amounts out in western Oklahoma. And, again, just kind of eyeballing it from here, from your live shot. What would you say? Again, Mike's currently in the Weatherford area, but it's looking like 2 to 4, maybe some higher amounts out there. Kind of give us a guesstimate, if you will, on what you guys have seen out there in western Oklahoma so far. Then we'll get back here to central Oklahoma as well.
Yes, William. Honestly, if I were guesstimating here, I would guesstimate that we have received at least 3 to 4 inches here in the Weatherford area. Now, I know places like Elk City definitely have a higher amount than Weatherford. It started there about 9:30-ish last night. It started snowing. So I know places like that are actually going to have more snow than what we do. But again, this is This is pretty accurate. There are going to be places that heavier snow bands have kind of set up. This snow is very much so like a thunderstorm, or kind of like thunderstorms here. You'll get under a pocket of heavy snowfall, and like even a town the size of Weatherford, one end of town may have 2 inches, and the other end of town may have 6. I was just out by Airport Road on the eastern side of town, and I would almost estimate that area of town had more along the 4 to 6 inch range. On the western side of town right now, it looks more like 2 to 3 inch, William.
Okay, Mike, really appreciate that update. Great job out there in western Oklahoma, too, by the way. What I want to do, I want to jump over to Aaron Spencer. He's here in central Oklahoma. And, Aaron, you're on the live line with us here as well. Let me go and pull up your live shot. And you're kind of driving the roads, if you will, for us this morning. Again, kind of checking out the OKC Metro and, again, seeing what's going on. There have been multiple reports of accidents so far on the streets. Now, right now in central Oklahoma, and we'll check road conditions coming up again here momentarily. Right now just being reported slick in spots, but especially the bridges and overpasses. Those are the things you really need to key in on and watch this morning, because obviously they cool down quicker. And if there were to be slick spots developing, it would be the bridges and overpasses first. But tell us where you are right now. It looks like traffic moving fairly smooth where you are, but give us an update on that.
Yes, William. We are moving southbound on I-35, just about to pass Southeast 33rd. Like you said, traffic is moving at a pretty good rate right now. There hasn't been any road accidents in our area yet. But, again, that could definitely change in the next couple of hours as the snow keeps coming down. I've been over a couple of the bridges. They didn't seem slick, but that doesn't mean that they weren't. Just because some people are going at a different speed than others, you definitely want to take it easy. Yeah, we know some of you may be trying to head to work right now, but it's definitely better to be a little bit late to work than cost your life or somebody else. So definitely be careful on the roads this morning, on into the early afternoon, and we'll definitely keep you guys advised. William, back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, really appreciate that update. Good job again, Aaron, there in central Oklahoma. I want to talk about the road conditions here quickly as well. And right now, kind of being reported by the ODOT and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Let's go and take the weather computer here, and we'll jump back to the guys' live shots coming up here momentarily and get another update from them coming up momentarily as well. But quickly, also, let's go and take a look at radar. And again, here in central Oklahoma, again, you can especially see where those areas of white and blue are. There's moderate to moderately heavy snow that continues to fall here in central Oklahoma, and this is going to be the case over the next several hours. So we've got this kind of moderately heavy snow band moving in, and again, like I mentioned, it is going to be hanging out really as we go through the day today. Let me go and click another button over here, and we'll get back to talking about some travel impacts here, because what I want to do, I want to talk about the road conditions for our friends out in the Oklahoma Panhandle, where you folks have definitely seen more snow through the overnight period. Out in that part of the state, in fact, roadways are currently being reported as slick and hazardous. You see the area of red out there in the Oklahoma Panhandle, far northwestern Oklahoma. Possibly over 6 inches of snow fell out there overnight, so slick and hazardous there. But notice western Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, the Tulsa Metro now being reported as slick in spots as well. And keep in mind that's going to primarily be on those bridges and overpasses. But the unfortunate part of this, and it's fairly typical anytime we're talking about winter weather in Oklahoma, is the fact that there are traffic snarls and there are traffic slowdowns. And again, that's what we've seen, again, as we've really gone through the morning this morning. What I want to do, let's go and kind of do a radar tour here, and we'll talk about some different hometowns, what's going on. I'll zoom out the radar, and then again, we'll check back in with our team of trackers coming up here momentarily. But again, you can see this wide area of snow that continues basically from central Oklahoma into portions of western Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma. Our friends up there around Enid, Ponca City, you folks also seeing some of this moderate snow. And then around T-Town, snow is currently moving on in. So right here in central Oklahoma, one more time, kind of talking about the morning commute. Again, 6:30 to 7:30, typical time for the morning commute in central Oklahoma. Some folks obviously having to battle the conditions, getting to work. Other folks with Veterans Day being observed today. There are some federal employees that are off today. But again, down here in Norman, all the way up through the Edmond area, again, this is a steady, moderate snow in progress. In fact, quickly, we can also check our downtown Oklahoma City live cam, and you can see from our live cam, it is completely whiteout conditions. Again, you can't really even see the skyline. That would be the Devon Tower, the Chase building there off in the foreground. And again, you essentially cannot see that at all, again, because that is all moderately heavy snow that continues to fall here in central Oklahoma. So as we go over the next several hours, that will continue to accumulate again here in central Oklahoma. So that's kind of giving you an eyeball there as to what we're seeing, at least here in central Oklahoma. And again, that's what we saw throughout really most of the overnight out in western Oklahoma. And we'll get back to Mike's video coming up momentarily. But again, there's some reports in western Oklahoma that we may have seen 6 inches of snow. Mike's reporting 2 to possibly 4 out there in the Weatherford area, again, with snow continuing at this time. Let's go up into northern Oklahoma. And again, for our friends up here around the Enid and Ponca City area, again, you continue to see this moderate, again, at times moderately heavy snow continuing to fall up there around Ponca City, and also back out into portions of northwestern Oklahoma there as well. So let's do this. Let's go back to our team of trackers. And Mike, I'm telling you what, I'm just looking at some of your new video coming in here, Mike's live shot, and you're definitely seeing some snow. I mean, western Oklahoma, some of these reports of possibly 6 inches may definitely verify out there around the Weatherford area. Roads don't look that great where you are either. Looks like you're about to be going over an overpass possibly. Give us an update. Again, tell us where you are. And for our friends out there in west central Oklahoma, give us an update on what's going on out there.
Yes, William. I'm actually on Route 66. I've just started heading a little farther westbound I'm heading towards the Clinton area right now. Now, I'm taking it extremely slow out here. But as you can tell, you can actually see where it's drifted here on Route 66 with the high winds out here. That's the other thing that I keep forgetting to bring up, William. These winds out here, actually, the shot will be coming in. This is very much so drifted right across the roadway here. Very intense. I'm taking it extremely slow. I'm doing about 25 miles an hour, and this is a road marked at 55. Again, I'm in an all-wheel drive. This is still a little bit too much for me, and I came from Colorado, so I'm taking it very slow out here. But again, I can say there are spots that have definitely picked up that 4 to 6 ratio there, William, on snow amounts, because some of these drifts are actually very thick that I'm driving through even.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, definitely accumulating snow out there and even on the roadways as well. What is the worst part so far in western Oklahoma, Mike? And then we'll get back here to central Oklahoma as well. But I mean, is it the bridges and overpasses, or are you also running into some slick spots on the regular roadways? And the reason I'm asking that is the travel map right now only has the panhandle slick and hazardous. But I mean, some of the areas you've driven through, we've seen at least so far this morning out there in west central Oklahoma, some of those almost look slick and hazardous to me. But as far as the roadways go, is it primarily the bridges and overpasses, or is it also the roadways now in west central Oklahoma as well?
There are going to be a lot of roadways that are slick and hazardous. Bridges and overpasses definitely are. I-40, they've done a pretty good job of treating. Of course, the vehicle traffic is keeping it kind of off the roadway. I-40 is a little more just wet, but still, some of those bridges and overpasses that I've already seen, even on I-40, William, they're slushy and they're a little bit slick. Again, I can't say it enough. Definitely take your time commuting this morning, whether it's just starting in your area or whether it's, like out here where it's been snowing for hours. Definitely take it easy this morning. It's definitely going to be slick and hazardous in spots, William.
Okay, Mike, really appreciate that update. Again, Mike out there around the Weatherford area. What I want to do, let's go back here into central Oklahoma. Aaron Spencer, he's on the northern sides of the metro. Aaron, tell us again where you are right now. You've been basically eyeballing the interstates for us this morning, obviously for the morning commute. That's important for a lot of folks around central Oklahoma. Now, not as much in the way of actual snow accumulations. And I can tell you down here in Norman, it's a little bit wider than the northern sides of town that you're on right now. We have had some accumulations down here in Norman for sure, but you're you're up around the Edmond area right now, it looks like overall traffic is moving okay. We've definitely had some reports of some accidents this morning. But again, tell us where you are right now and give us an update on roadways here in central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. We are still traveling southbound, just about to pass Northeast 50th Street here in right almost in close to downtown Oklahoma City right now. We are, still watching the road conditions. They're still about the same that they were whenever we reported last time. Snow picked up just a little bit. I was over near Welshire Boulevard here just a little bit ago, and snow accumulation definitely picked up while you were giving our viewers an update. But again, they're starting to pick up here just over near Northeast 50th Street. So definitely going to keep tracking this winter weather as it's coming through the Oklahoma City Metro to give you guys update. Live look outside. William, back to you.
Hey, Aaron, and so as far as the roadways go, again, overall, it looks like for the most part, traffic's moving okay. What about the bridges and overpasses? Again, those are the primary reports, at least here in central Oklahoma, that we've had so far this morning, is it has been the bridges and overpasses that they are slick in spots. That's being reported by the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. As you're, on the interstates, they're obviously going over some bridges and overpasses and such. How are those? And also, have you seen any ODOT trucks in central Oklahoma out treating the roadways at all?
Yes, William. I actually just went over a bridge as you were saying that. It wasn't slick to me, but like I said earlier, it kind of just depends on how fast you're going. So, definitely take it easy as you are going over those. But no, William, I have not, felt or seen any slick spots on any of the bridges that I went over so far. And also, I've seen 3 different ODOT trucks that have been driving around. I have not seen them, throwing any salt or sand out yet. But, if road conditions keep deteriorating, they'll definitely start treating the roads. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. We're going to get back to our team of trackers coming up here momentarily, but I want to kind of give an overview of what's going on. We just kind of gave a radar tour. Again, snow continues really around a good portion of Oklahoma, but I also want to talk about what to
William,
expect
do you have my shot?
as we go through the day today as well. And yeah, Mike, we do. Let's go back over to Mike's shot real quick here, and let's see what's going on with Mike. Again, Mike is out in west central Oklahoma, out around the Weatherford area. We were just talking to Aaron Spencer here in central Oklahoma, and yeah, these snowfall amounts out in western Oklahoma really continue to add up. Again, multiple reports coming in now of maybe 6 inches. Mike, give us an update again from out there in the Weatherford area.
Yes, William. I'm going to be actually halfway between Clinton and Weatherford right now, and I've actually stopped. I'm in a safe area right now, but I've stopped because this area is a little bit elevated, and it's not snowing here at the moment. We're waiting on our next band to show up. But William, this is definitely ground blizzard conditions right in front of me here, where the field is actually elevated over the interstate and Route 66 here. I mean, it's like a low fog out here. I haven't driven into it yet, but it's definitely windy, and it's definitely, it's ground blizzard out here, William. I mean, there's no better way to describe it. As I drive into it here, you're going to start seeing exactly what I'm talking about. And like right now, Route 66 just disappeared in front of me. There is no lines. The only way I can tell where the road is because I can see where the grass is kind of built up on the side. But this is definitely ground blizzard conditions in parts of western Oklahoma, William.
No, I mean, absolutely, Mike. I mean, your video, and like I said, the video's been very impressive coming in from western Oklahoma, and this is the very similar situation for our friends up in northwestern Oklahoma. It started snowing there much earlier, really, as we went through the overnight period, so the accumulations have been more, and temperatures out there in western Oklahoma are currently below freezing. They're just now dropping below freezing here in central Oklahoma, so there's been an additional opportunity for accumulation out there. We have another batch of Canadian air that's going to be moving in today, and temperatures essentially where we are right now. These are our daytime highs. It will be colder as you're heading home from work later on this afternoon. So temperatures will actually be going in reverse as we go through the day. But again, yeah, you can absolutely see a much different story in western Oklahoma so far than what we're seeing here in central Oklahoma. But again, it's going to continue to snow here in central Oklahoma. And again, those temperatures are just now at that freezing mark. And so we will have our opportunity for accumulating snow throughout the at least early afternoon. here in central Oklahoma as well. I want to break away from the storm tracker video just real quick because I want to talk about that. And I really want to talk about what to expect really as we go through the rest of the day today, because really a lot going on with the snow today, and then also some dangerously cold temperatures as we get into tonight. I want to talk about road conditions as well, first of all. And this is as being reported here by ODOT and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Right now, officially, the only slick and hazardous area, or zone, if you will, that's being reported is in the Panhandle and far northwestern Oklahoma. But I can tell you, just from Mike's video coming in, west central Oklahoma, you know, there's going to be some slick and hazardous areas even out there in west central Oklahoma. Slick spots in central Oklahoma, mainly on the bridges and the overpasses like we're seeing with Aaron Spencer's video coming in, and now also up around Tulsa as well. There are some slick spots being reported. Also down around the Lawton area, slick spots being reported down there. Downtown Oklahoma City, here's a live shot from our downtown OKC cam. You can see that moderate snow in progress, easing up just a bit. Earlier we had some whiteout conditions there, but again, snow is in progress. You can see the flakes right there. Big, fluffy flakes coming down. Again, this will make for a fairly, we'll just call it slushy snow as we go through the day. But again, there are at least some travel issues are beginning to develop here in central Oklahoma. And again, those temperatures out there are cold. We're just now essentially hitting the freezing mark in central Oklahoma, 32 to right around 33. You see those live numbers there. And again, out there in west central Oklahoma, where Mike is out there around the Weatherford area, temperatures out there, really even as we went through the overnight period, were essentially at or below freezing, and so that gave them a better opportunity for that accumulating snow. We're dropping to freezing now here in central Oklahoma, so the opportunity for accumulating snow will continue to increase. And even for our friends in northern Oklahoma, Ponca up all the way through the Enid area, we don't want to forget about you folks up there. Moderate snow in progress there as well. Temperatures below freezing, and there is accumulating snow now beginning to develop up in northern Oklahoma, again with slick spots being reported up in that part of the state as well. The other story today, it is going to be the winds, and again you can see these gustier northerly winds coming in now. The reason this is important here is because these northerly winds, they're also ushering in, or what we call advecting in, our next batch of Canadian air, or colder air throughout the day. And again, with these winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, they are giving us dangerously cold wind chill factors. This is something we need to keep in mind as we go through the day today. This is dangerous. Wind chill factors here in the teens. In fact, it feels like 15 up there currently around the Ponca City and Newkirk area. Wind chill factors here in the lower to mid 20s in central Oklahoma, and wind chill factors in the teens and 20s even in western Oklahoma there as well. So really, as we go through noon today, the scattered area of snow, you see it continuing to push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. So again, even through noon, snow will be in progress here in central Oklahoma. And then essentially the deeper we get into the afternoon, you see the snow quickly taper off and push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma, and then essentially out of Oklahoma. That is by your evening commute, talking about the 5 p.m. time frame there. Central Oklahoma, the Tulsa metro, again, active snow ending. However, the roadways will still be wet. Temperatures will be below freezing. So still anticipate maybe some travel slowdown, some travel issues, again, even for your evening commute. So definitely keep that in mind. Through noon today, I think where the heaviest snowfall is going to be central Oklahoma up into portions of northern Oklahoma. Only a chilly rain for our friends down across portions of southeastern Oklahoma. And then as we go through the afternoon today, again, temperatures right now essentially at our daytime highs. As we go through the afternoon, the temperatures will continue to ease down generally into the 20s around a good portion of Oklahoma. And again, that main area of snow continues to push off over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. Wind chill factors continue to build in as well. Metro planner here in central Oklahoma. Again, you see the temperatures going in reverse down to 29 by your 5 p.m. evening commute. But snowfall probability is also tapering off there by 5 p.m. as well. Still a 100% chance, though, through noon today here in central Oklahoma. So snowfall projections here really through the rest of the day today. I think we're going to see widespread 1 to 3 inch amounts. Again, 3 to 6 to possibly some of that 3 to 6 we may need to update this and pull it down into portions of west central Oklahoma as well. But again, central Oklahoma 1 to 3 inch slushy amounts. And again, at least through most of the afternoon, that will be causing at least some travel issues. It's mainly going to be on the bridges and the overpasses. I have that in the moderate category as far as winter weather impacts go. Roadways could be some slick spots. This is mainly for central Oklahoma here. And then the other big story again this afternoon, heading into this evening as well, it is going to be those wind chill factors in the teens. And overnight tonight, wind chill factors will be closer to 0 across a good portion of Oklahoma. And that's because the air temperatures are going to be getting closer to 0 as well. This is a bitterly cold night shaping up. The skies will clear, snow on the ground, sets the stage for optimal cooling. Pipe bursting cold possible in the north. Ponca City tonight down to 10 degrees above 0. Right now, my forecasted low in central Oklahoma is 17 degrees above 0. But keep in mind that with the snow on the ground, optimal cooling, I may need to even lower that just a little bit more. So plus 17 here in central Oklahoma tonight, and then mid-20s down in southern Oklahoma. But this will be the other real story as we go through this evening into tonight. It will be those dangerously cold overnight lows. Keep in mind your outdoor pets, your outdoor cattle, livestock, things like that, dangerously cold for them as well. Northern Oklahoma, again, some of you folks may even need to drip your faucets up in that part of the state. Pipe bursting cold possible there. And so then as we get into tomorrow, it will be a better day in the fact the sun does return across Oklahoma, but it will still be a cold afternoon with 30s and 40s generally around the state, even as we go through tomorrow. So a lot going on weather-wise, but at least the big story right now, it continues to be that snow that continues to build on in. So what I want to do, let's do this. Let's get back to our team of trackers here. Let's get an update from them as to what's going on around central Oklahoma. First of all, I want to check in with Aaron Spencer. And Aaron, you're on the live line with us here. Go ahead and tell us where you are now. And looks like you're still basically driving the roadways here in central Oklahoma. Tell us where you are and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We are still on I-35 South, just passing southeast 89th Street. Road conditions are still pretty good, to be honest. The temperatures and also the road traffic has kept the road surfaces, at a higher temperature than freezing. So, that's definitely good. I'm going over a bridge right now. Looks like there might have been a slick spot or two on that. So, definitely, again, just take caution as you guys are going over the bridges and overpasses. Even if they don't look slick, we always have that black ice. So, definitely be careful as you're still, some people are still heading to work. It's better to be just a little bit late than it is to cost your life or take somebody else. So definitely, again, be very, very careful as you guys are heading to work, not just in central Oklahoma, but all the areas in Oklahoma that have seen this, snow accumulation during the early morning and even as of last night. So, again, we're going to be out here giving you guys ground truth, showing you guys what we're seeing moment, minute by minute. And we'll give it back to you, Lane.
Okay, really appreciate that update there, Aaron. Let me also do this. Let's go and check out in western Oklahoma again, where we've had just a little bit more in the way of a snowfall accumulation out there around the Weatherford and Clinton area. That's where Mike Russ is, our senior storm tracker. Mike, you're out there in western Oklahoma. Some of the video coming in from out there has definitely shown us some accumulating snow. We've had some guesstimates 4 to maybe 6 inches out there in west central Oklahoma. Tell us where you are now. We're looking at your video there on the top left-hand side of the screen, but give us an update out there in the Weatherford area.
Yes, William. I'm actually going to be closer to Clinton now. I'm just a couple miles east of Clinton on Route 66 here, and conditions have actually improved towards the Clinton area at this moment. Now I can see another heavy snow band that looks like kind of approaching from the west here. But again, the road conditions are actually much better around the Clinton area at this time. Or at least they appear that way. I'm not getting any indications from the truck that we're spinning or anything. So it does appear that that Weatherford may have had the bullseye in the Custer County area. But I can also tell you, William, I'm very happy to see, just in the short trip that I've made so far, I have seen 2 to 3 ODOT trucks out here. Nothing really to.
And we may be losing you just a little bit there, Mike.
They're playing that.
Oh, go ahead. There we go. I think you're back. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, but they're out here making sure these roads do stay treated out here. They're definitely dropping a salt and sand mixture out here on I-40 to make sure that it just stays wet and doesn't freeze up. But again, that's the other thing that's going to be really kind of a test to see here as we go through the overnight is how much melting on the roadways do we get this afternoon out here in western Oklahoma before we get those bone-chilling cold temperatures tonight, William. Because if it doesn't thaw, if these roads do not thaw out, you're going to be talking really slick and hazardous roads in the morning.
Yeah, no, absolutely with black ice. Yeah, no, absolutely, because there will be some melting, and then the way it looks right now, again, with those dangerously cold temperatures tonight, tomorrow morning, the morning commute for parts of Oklahoma could be a little more treacherous than what we're even seeing out there this morning. And again, there have been some issues. We're actually getting a report here of I-40 and Peebly Road. There's an overturned semi. So, it's hit or miss. Not every road around the Oklahoma City metro or around the state is, slick and hazardous, but there are slick spots out there, and again, we continue to see those. And the bad thing is you really don't know it until you hit it, because just like we're seeing from Aaron's shot there in central Oklahoma, for the most part, traffic is moving fairly smooth, but it's moving smooth until someone, and unfortunately does, find that slick spot and there is an issue. But we have had several reports now of slowdowns and traffic incidents around central Oklahoma. And again, that moderately to at times moderately heavy snow does continue to move through portions of central Oklahoma. And again, you're seeing it right there as the band of moderate snow continues to move on in. So here's what I want to do. I want to kind of zoom out the radar here just a little bit. I want to kind of give an overview, and we're just going to kind of keep the live shots up there on the left-hand side of the screen. And again, you can see for our friends in western Oklahoma, and even across portions of northern, southwestern Oklahoma, our friends down around Lawton, Enid, Ponca City, even back over through Woodward. Again, we don't want to forget about you folks because you are still seeing snow. And for some of those folks out there in western Oklahoma, like we're seeing from Mike's shot right there, it snowed fairly steadily overnight. Temperatures were below freezing. So again, we continue to see more in the way of accumulating snow across that part of the state. But even in northern Oklahoma, the darker blue you're seeing there, those are the heavier bands of snow. And again, you can see in central Oklahoma pushing into the Tulsa metro currently, that is a moderately heavy band of snow. There's still more out in the Texas Panhandle. This entire wave will come through again as we go through the day. But the deeper we get into the afternoon, the snow will quickly taper off, push into eastern Oklahoma, then out of Oklahoma fairly quickly. So this is not going to continue to snow all day or even into tonight, but this will continue to snow at least into the first part of the early afternoon. In central Oklahoma, we should really begin to taper it off after noon. It may not stop immediately, but it will kind of taper down and taper back, if you will, again, as we begin to get into the afternoon. So we'll continue to watch that right there. Let's also go and talk about road conditions around Oklahoma. And as we do that, as being reported by the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, we'll go and punch those up. Road conditions, again, a lot of slick spots being reported. And just like we were talking about there, and just like we're seeing with Aaron's video in central Oklahoma, for the most part, traffic looks like it's moving okay. But again, it's just kind of unfortunately, if you find that slick spot or, another car close to you finds that slick spot, that's when there are issues. So definitely use caution if you're in the yellow. Yellow, there are slick spots, western, central, even up into the Tulsa metro now. We are getting slick and hazardous reports from the Oklahoma Panhandle into far northwestern Oklahoma. Again, up there around the Harper County area. So we'll continue to track this, obviously important as well. From downtown Oklahoma City, here's another perspective from central Oklahoma. Again, the snow continues to fall. It's not quite as heavy as it was maybe 30 minutes ago. We had whiteout conditions about 30 minutes ago, but you can still see the white haze in the background there. And again, those are snowflakes that continue to fall. You can actually see them there in the camera, again, here in central Oklahoma. And again, temperatures out there cold, just now falling below freezing here in central Oklahoma. And again, you can see 32, 33 now currently in central Oklahoma. For our friends out in western Oklahoma, again, it's essentially been below freezing as we went through most of the overnight period with snow out there. So again, that's why we're seeing more in the way of accumulating snow again out in that part of the state. I know these numbers here are kind of hard to read, but in northern Oklahoma, it is below freezing. So 20s and 30s up in that part of the state, accumulating snow possible there. Now for our friends down in southeastern parts of the state, again, we're still in the 40s. It will only be a chilly rain as we go through the day again down in that part of the state. Northerly winds continue. This is aggravating those wind chill factors, number one, but also these gusty northerly winds, they also continue to usher in some more Canadian air or some colder temperatures. And as we go through the day today, temperatures will actually go reverse. They'll ease down. We're actually at our daytime highs now, and it will be turning colder as we go through the day. Wind chill factors here in the teens across a good portion of Oklahoma. That's dangerously cold. That's bitterly cold, dangerously cold. We just want to underscore that. That's the other piece of this today. That's dangerously cold temperatures, dangerously cold wind chill factors as we go through the day. So right here in central Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma, through noon today, again, the snow essentially continues. As we go through the day, you see how quickly the snow ends and begins to push over into portions of far eastern Oklahoma. It will taper off central Oklahoma, also the Tulsa metro. So for your evening commute, 5 p.m., not really anticipating active snow, but the roadways will still be wet and temperatures will be below freezing. So keep in mind there could be some travel impacts even heading into your evening commute. The heaviest snow through noon today, central Oklahoma, pushing up towards the Tulsa metro, with still areas of snow continuing across portions of far western Oklahoma. As we go through the day today, the snow continues there to push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. Could see a light mix across portions of southeastern Oklahoma, but far southeastern Oklahoma, down around the Idabel area, only a chilly rain there. And again, temperatures, they will ease down throughout the day here in central Oklahoma. Like I mentioned, right now we're at our daytime high. By noon, down to 31 and down to 29 by your evening commute. And again, those snow probabilities, they'll also begin to taper down as well. Still 100% probability by noon, but by your evening commute, it's essentially a 20% chance or less. I believe by your evening commute, all the active precipitation as far as snow will be gone by that time frame. So snowfall projections here, 1 to 3 inch amounts will be fairly common, really from about I-40 to the north. That does include the Tulsa metro as well. We've had that bullseye of 3 to maybe 6 in northwestern Oklahoma. And even out in west central Oklahoma, that's an area of 3 to 4 to maybe 6 inch amounts that we've seen from Mike's video, again, as we've essentially gone through the morning. The major travel impacts, again, will be the bridges and overpasses. We'll put that in the moderate category as far as the impacts go. Roadways, low, but there are slick spots. We just want to continue to underscore that. There are slick spots around, especially around the Oklahoma City metro. And then the wind chill factors, those will be in the high category as far as being dangerously cold. Okay, so now the other story, again, to this as we go through today into tonight, it will be the overnight lows tonight. This is going to be dangerously cold. So from 10 degrees above zero in the north to right around 17 in central Oklahoma, some 20s down in the south. The skies will clear with snow on the ground. Again, that does set the stage for optimal cooling overnight. So this will be a record cold night for parts of Oklahoma. And again, just underscore again, it will be a dangerously cold night as well. Keep in mind your outdoor pets, your outdoor animals, your livestock. Again, do what you need to do to winterize them. For some of the property owners in the north, your homes, you may even need to be dripping the faucets tonight. Again, that could be some pipe bursting cold up in northern Oklahoma. So then as we get into tomorrow, Tuesday, it will make for a better day in the fact that the sun does return tomorrow. But temperatures tomorrow, they do remain cold. 30s in the north, 40s in the south, with wind chill factors even continuing through the day there as well. So once the system moves on out, really talking about the rest of your work week here, just kind of looking ahead. If you don't like the wintry weather, a ridge builds in, temperatures will begin to moderate as we really go through most of this upcoming week. So again, better weather is on the way. And again, you can see that here even on the updated 12-day forecast. Again, snow likely today, down to 17 degrees tonight, possible record lows. But then again, you can see the weather pattern basically stabilizes there going forward, and could be another storm system on down towards the end of that 12-day forecast. But again, a lot going on today, and obviously today is what most people are at least most concerned about. Back to live radar there as well. So here's what I want to do. I want to check back in with our team of storm trackers. They're out in the field doing a great job, again, in these frigid and snowy conditions. But first of all, right here in central Oklahoma, Aaron, I know you've kind of been driving the roads. Your video's there in the bottom, in the left-hand bottom side of the screen. Tell us where you are now, and give us an update on the roads here in central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. I am over on Robinson and North Interstate Drive over here in Norman, kind of just driving some of the side roads, and I'm just about to go over a overpass right now, just right over I-35, and we're going to be checking the conditions of it, which right now it looks like it's, fairly dry compared to a little bit further north. up towards the Oklahoma City area. So the roads over here are looking a lot better than over near downtown Oklahoma City, as well as the accumulating snow. We did have some bigger snowflakes about 10 to 15 minutes ago, but definitely not as much accumulating snow as there was up in Oklahoma City as well as Guthrie. So that's definitely a little bit of a change, but other than that, snow is definitely still coming down here in parts of Norman. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. I want to go back into West Central Oklahoma. Mike, we've got your shot. I don't know if you had to park for a minute, or I'm not sure what was going on there, but we've still got your shot. Give us an update. Tell us where you are. And I know there's been quite a bit more snow out there in West Central Oklahoma, but give us an update from your location as well.
Yes, William. I'm actually in Clinton, Oklahoma right now. And no, vehicle's doing absolutely wonderful in our new Fast Track 2 unit. But I actually pulled off here at the VFW because I wanted to show this flag. This flag really shows that the winds are definitely elevated out here in western Oklahoma. And that's kind of causing some of our blowing snow out here as well. As Clinton, Oklahoma just now, just a couple minutes ago, just started getting inundated with another snow band here. And one of the interesting things, knowing that I love all things weather, William, I'm kind of intrigued at the fact that we have green trees still out here that are kind of shedding their leaves right now with snow falling. This is kind of indicative of how fast our winter has actually come on here in Oklahoma. But again, here in Clinton, the roads are not that bad. They're just wet right now. And actually, I'm going to continue on now. But the roads are actually just wet here in Clinton, Oklahoma. We're not seeing what we saw in Weatherford. But again, there's another looks like a heavy snow band that is slowly making its way through western Oklahoma again. So again, we're out here tracking in western Oklahoma, making sure these roads are even passable. Some of these roads are definitely going to be slick and dangerous out here. So again, I urge people, even though like right now in my shot, the road looks just wet, but that can change at a moment's notice and become icy and very slick. So we want everybody to please take your time. Don't get in a rush. Leave early for work if you have to work today. If you don't, definitely stay inside. Stay with the family. Enjoy your day off, your snow day, whatever the case may be. But if you don't have to be out, don't be out. This is our first snow of the year, and I've been actually very proud of this. Actually, William, as I'm crossing this bridge is the Washita River Bridge here in Clinton, Oklahoma. And I got indications from the truck here that we did start slipping a little bit. So again, like that just snuck up on me. The road appeared just wet, and we slid a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to say, everybody, is please just take your time. There's no reason to be in a rush this morning. If you're late for work, you're not going to make up that much time by trying to be out there speeding on these roadways. And in fact, you could create a much worse situation for yourself. So again, just take your time, take everything slow, careful, and kind of enjoy it. This is beautiful. We haven't had snow in a couple of years, William. Not like this scale, anyways. So again, kind of take your time, enjoy the scenes, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, Mike. I mean, that's a great point. If you don't have to get out and about in it, especially out there in western Oklahoma, where you have a little bit more in the way of a ground coverage of the snow, I mean, it really looks for, some great pictures or great, eye candy, for lack of a better word. But again, if you do have to get out and about on the roadways, it's a different story. It's a little more treacherous, for some of those folks with that. So we definitely understand that as well. But great shot from western Oklahoma, Mike. I mean, you've really been bringing us the details and the pictures from out there. We're going to get back to Aaron Spencer here momentarily as well. He's here in central Oklahoma. but I want to do a quick radar tour and kind of give an update of what's going on. So here in central Oklahoma, we had a band of moderately heavy snow move through, but we've actually got another band of moderately heavy snow that's going to be moving through over the next 20 minutes or so. In fact, it's already moved into Edmond. It's moving through the far western sides of the metro right now, out around Mustang, Yukon, moderately heavy to, it looks like some pockets of heavy snow moving back in. Here in Norman right now, we've transitioned to more in the way of lighter snow, but again, moderately heavy snow will be moving back here into the Norman area as well. Down across portions of southwestern Oklahoma, down around the Lawton area. Snow's been ongoing there really through most of the morning, and in fact, it does continue right now as well. Slick spots being reported down around the Lawton area, and then even back up through the Chickasha area there as well on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike. Back towards I-40, we have had at least one report of an overturned semi. That was on I-40 and Peebly Road. That was about 30 minutes ago, so there are some travel issues on I-40 here in central Oklahoma, so definitely keep that in mind. A lot of times whenever it snows, it doesn't matter regardless of what the winter weather situation is. A lot of times there are issues that develop on I-40. That has unfortunately been the case again so far this morning, but for our friends out there in Canadian County along the I-40 corridor, again, you can see that moderately heavy snow moving through and just now out of the El Reno area. As we go a little bit further back to the west here, and we're talking about the Weatherford Clinton area, that's essentially where Mike is. We did have that kind of burst there of moderately heavy snow moving through Weatherford. There's going to be a little break in the action, but then you can see from Putnam all the way back down to Elk City, here comes another band of snow. This will be the primary trend through the rest of the day in western Oklahoma. Before we taper this off, it'll kind of come in waves or bands of snow, but where you're seeing the darker blues, those are moderately heavy bands, and so there will be more bands of snow that move back into the Weatherford Clinton area over the next 30 minutes or so. Foss, Elk City, even back out through Sayre, talking about Beckham County all the way through Eric. Again, you see pockets of snow showing up there as well. That's out in western Oklahoma. Northwestern Oklahoma, up here around the Harper County area, Woodward, Ellis County, Woods County, Alva, Woodward, even back over through Gage, and talking about locations like Arnett and Buffalo. Scattered areas of light to at times some moderate snow still does continue. And keep in mind, in that part of the state, it's been snowing since well overnight last night. 6 inches possible up in this part of the state with the winter storm warning still in effect there as well. North central Oklahoma, Enid back over through Ponca City, Perry. This is the I-35 North corridor here. And again, you can see that moderately heavy snow really picks up there from Perry down through Guthrie, even back over through Stillwater. Heavy snow right now being reported in the Stillwater area. And then basically the Turner Turnpike there up through the Tulsa metro. Moderately heavy snow moving into Tulsa right now. Downtown Tulsa also reporting heavy snow now as well. So for our friends down in southeastern Oklahoma, a little bit of a different story there. Right now, it's only been a chilly rain. There's a little bit of a rain-snow mix as far south as Ada, but down around the Ardmore area, right now, it's all just a chilly rain. And again, that chilly rain does continue all the way over through portions of far southeastern Oklahoma, talking about locations like LaFleur County, McCurtain County, Idabel, Lake Broken Bow, some of those hometowns, Pushmataha County. Again, right now, this is all basically a chilly rain. And for extreme southeastern Oklahoma, that's the way it's going to remain. Essentially, the active snow will remain in central Oklahoma back up through the Tulsa metro, at least through noon today, and of course including portions of western Oklahoma. But again, you can see the snow bands here extend all the way out towards the Amarillo area. There have been locations out in the Texas Panhandle that have picked up 7 to 8 inches of snow as we went through the overnight period. So again, this has been an outright winter storm. You take the snow and factor it in with these really cold and wind chill factors that are dangerously cold that have been developing. Again, this is an outright winter storm now across Oklahoma. So I want to go back to our team of trackers, still checking with the Oklahoma City Metro. Aaron Spencer, you've been driving the interstates in the Metro. Tell us where you are now and go ahead and give us another live update.
Yes, William. We are just now passing North 12th Street. We're kind of heading back up to downtown Oklahoma City, where one of those heavy bands of snow is about to start coming through again. We have noticed a pickup in the snow, as it's kind of moving through parts of central Oklahoma right now. And as we were leaving the north part of Norman, the snowflakes got pretty good size to where you could actually start hearing them hit the windshield. So, just a brief upscale and, in the amount of snow that was accumulating and actually being able to reach it to the surface. But what I've noticed is most of the snow that's, really touching anything, as soon as it, touches the surface at all, it melts. So you can definitely tell that the temperatures haven't been at freezing or below freezing for very long because, it's just the snow is not able to stick on anything other than, maybe a vehicle or some hard surface that's been out in the cold for quite some time and just hasn't had time to warm up. So, and also the bridges and overpasses are still looking, fairly good. We haven't had any indications of our vehicle slipping because we do have a way to, tell if we're slipping on the roadway or not. Traffic is still traveling at a fairly good speed. We're traveling at about 60 to 65 miles an hour right now, and people are definitely staying at least 2 to 3 car lengths in between each other, just in case somebody does have to hit their brakes. They do have enough time to slow down. So definitely be careful out there if you're heading out anywhere. William, back to you.
Aaron, really appreciate that update. And so I've really been watching your live stream fairly carefully this morning. I have not seen any accidents in your shot so far. Again, we've had a few reports. Most of them, I think, have primarily been on I-40, unfortunately. And again, that's very common with winter weather. But I mean, you've essentially driven from Edmond down to Norman, kind of back. I mean, we're kind of seeing you going north and south here around the metro. But it looks like, for the most part, traffic has, been moving fairly smoothly, knock on wood. But I mean, have you seen any accidents, at least so far this morning?
No, William, I have not seen any accidents yet this morning, which is a good thing. We definitely don't want to see any accidents. Yeah, I agree with you. They've more been on I-40, especially because there is more snow out towards, west on I-40. So, that's definitely kind of a factor of why there might be a couple more accidents out there than here in downtown Oklahoma City, especially because the road conditions, from what we've seen so far, aren't slick. And I'm not saying that they aren't, somewhere else here in Oklahoma City, but where we have been driving on both north and now, or south and now northbound, the overpasses and bridges haven't been slick like Russ has been seeing over there in western Oklahoma.
Yeah, and that's the good news. So, I mean, we've kind of gotten through this morning commute, semi-winding down, going on 8 o'clock now. Looks like there's not even as much traffic in your shots anymore, so that's good. So, again, we've had a few accidents, obviously. There are still slick spots out there, but as far as being, any type of catastrophic slowdown this morning with this wintry weather building in, it definitely has not been the case. So that is the good news. But, again, moderate snow still continues here in central Oklahoma. I want to get back out to Mike because, again, out in west central Oklahoma, he's out around the Weatherford, Clinton area. It snowed throughout the night, and temperatures have been below freezing out there longer, so we've had more in the way of accumulation. Some reports up to 6 inches in west central Oklahoma, especially right there around Weatherford. Mike's kind of eyeballed 4 to maybe 6 inches. Mike, give us another update from out there in Weatherford. Again, we can see much more in the way of accumulating snow from your shot there.
Yes, William. I'm actually now going to be west of Clinton, Oklahoma. I'm slowly trying to make my way towards Elk City because Elk City, it started snowing a lot earlier last night than anywhere else in the state, other than Woodward. Woodward started the evening off with some heavy snow, and then a secondary band formed farther to the south, and it just inundated Elk City for a while. But, William, out here, I-40 is still moving along. We're doing about 60, 65. Sometimes, like right now, conditions kind of deteriorated here just a little, probably about 5 miles west of Clinton, Oklahoma. And so traffic is starting to slow down again. We're doing a little closer to 50, 55. But again, you can see up ahead in my shot, we're receiving those ground blizzard type conditions again as the snow continues to fall here in western Oklahoma. But again, these roads, I-40 is actually, they're treating it. They've been taking very good care of it. And just like you were asking Aaron, I'm not seeing where anybody's gone off the road. I'm not seeing wrecks. I'm actually very surprised and very impressed. People are taking this event very seriously. They're taking their time. And wow, this wind out here in western Oklahoma, William, this is very intense wind out here. Again, creating ground blizzard type conditions. So again, it's still a dangerous situation. If you don't have to be out, don't get out. it's not worth it. But this is kind of showing everyone in central Oklahoma kind of what you can look forward to throughout the day. This is what is possible in central Oklahoma. So we want everybody to take their time. If you don't have to be out, don't be out. Enjoy watching the snow fall. And if you don't enjoy watching snow fall, watch a movie. Watch a movie and drink your hot cocoa or coffee.
Yeah.
But again, conditions out here are still going to be slick and dangerous in spots, and very windy out here, with snow still continuing to fall and drift across the roadways, William.
Yeah, Mike, really appreciate that update. I mean, doing a great job out there in west central Oklahoma, and, Mike kind of battling through the conditions there as well. Not optimal, obviously, driving through, at times some snow-covered roadways. So he's on the interstate right now. He's on I-40, traffic moving okay there, but he's definitely had a few snow-covered roads as we've gone through the morning. And so western Oklahoma, again, where it's been snowing throughout the overnight, a bit of a different story out there. But again, you can see much more in the way of accumulating snow out there in western and west central Oklahoma. So we're going to continue to check in with Mike. We've got Aaron Spencer covering central Oklahoma. Again, right now he's kind of been eyeballing the roadways, the major interstates around central Oklahoma. And so far, knock on wood, those have been moving smoothly. Now, there have been some accidents in central Oklahoma, but right now the roads in general, they are moving smoothly. Now, there are slick spots out there, and I want to go and talk about this here as well. But as reported here from the Highway Patrol and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, where you're seeing the red, that is slick and hazardous. Now, that's officially being reported. I would argue that there's portions of west central Oklahoma where Mike is, and some of the video we saw from him earlier today, that there's areas of slick and hazardous even in west central Oklahoma. So keep that in mind. Here in central Oklahoma, slick spots, also up around the Tulsa Metro now being reported as slick spots. That's going to primarily be the bridges and overpasses. But if you're out and about, keep in mind, if you hit a slick spot, you won't know it's there until you find it, and a lot of times that's not a good situation. So keep that in mind. Here's downtown Oklahoma City. Snow continues in progress, moderate snow. If you look carefully, you can see the snowflakes there, the white haze in the distance. That would be the Devon building right there, almost hard to see, again, with all the snow currently in progress right there in central Oklahoma. Now, the other story we're tracking here, it is the temperatures, and the temperatures are actually going to go in reverse today. We were essentially at our daytime high probably about an hour and a half ago. We have more Canadian air building in today, so we are now essentially at freezing in central Oklahoma, 32, 33. You don't have to be at 32 to have snow, but the reason why that's important, as those temperatures continue to ease down, it will give us at least a more likely probability to see some additional accumulating snow in central Oklahoma. And one of the reasons why we've seen accumulating snow in western Oklahoma is, well, it snowed there overnight, but also the temperatures out there have primarily been below freezing, even as we went through the overnight period. More live numbers. I know we kind of have everything boxed up here, so it's a little bit harder to see, but from 20s in the Panhandle, 20s and 30s in the north, again, right about freezing here in central Oklahoma. And again, we're still in the 40s in southeastern Oklahoma. So down there, we're primarily talking about a chilly rain as we go through the day today. There are the winds. Again, Mike was mentioning those wind gusts out there, 20 to near 40 mile per hour wind gusts. The reason why, for two reasons this is important. Number one, it continues to what we call advect, or basically blow down that Canadian air. That's why the temperatures are going to be dropping as we go through the day today. But it's also going to continue to aggravate those wind chill factors. Wind chill factors primarily in the teens across a good portion of Oklahoma. These are dangerously cold. You see teens in the northwest and the north, a mix of teens in the west. Even here in central Oklahoma, from 19 to right around 24 wind chill factors. So again, that is dangerously cold. Even down around Lawton, wind chill factor currently there right at 19. So as we go through at least the morning into the early afternoon, the snow is going to continue to slowly push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. But as we get deeper into the afternoon, look how quickly the snow tapers off there. And so for your evening commute, central Oklahoma, the Tulsa Metro, that is by 5 p.m. there, the snow will essentially be long gone. Now, as we head into the evening commute, the roadways will still likely be wet around the metro, and temperatures will be below freezing. So there could still be a few issues, again, for your evening commute. So definitely keep that in mind. And that's just going to be one of those raw kind of winter type days as we go through the day today. The heaviest snowfall through noon, I think, is going to be in central Oklahoma up through the Tulsa Metro, Ponca City included. Chilly rain continues down in southeastern Oklahoma. Temperatures today essentially go in reverse. Snow continues to push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma as we go through the day today. We'll taper off the snow chances here in central Oklahoma from 100% chance at noon. It's about a 20% probability or less by 5 p.m. Notice how the temperatures also go in reverse down to 29. That is by 5 p.m. 1 to 3 inch snowfall amounts do look fairly common. We've had that bullseye of 3 to 6 already up in northwestern Oklahoma. Slick and hazardous travel up in that part of the state. And then far southeastern Oklahoma, maybe a trace down there. But again, primarily I-40 to the north. That's where we're going to see kind of the bulk of the snow, if you will. But again, even for the Oklahoma City Metro, 1 to 3 inches, those do look like common amounts, again, as we go through the day today. And then again, for your bridges, moderate impact on the bridges, roadways, kind of a lower impact. There will be some slick spots out there. Just use extreme caution. If you don't have to travel, if you're now at work, I would stay at work, for as long as you can today and not get back out on the roads. Try not to run any errands. Try not to go grab that bite to eat at lunch if you maybe brought food with you to work or something like that, because again, there are still going to be slick spots out there even as we go through the day today. Wind chill factors, we're going to put those in the high category as far as the winter weather impacts. Again, they are dangerously cold, and that is happening out there right now. So overnight tonight, this will be the other weather story later today and tonight. It is going to be these bitterly cold and dangerously cold overnight lows from 10 degrees above zero in Ponca City to plus 17, even here in central Oklahoma, 20s in the south. So again, this will be dangerously cold. Keep in mind your outdoor pets, outdoor animals, livestock, cattle. It will be dangerous for them as well. A bit of a better day building in for tomorrow. The sun does return across Oklahoma, but temperatures will be cold tomorrow, 30s and 40s. Those are afternoon highs. This storm system will quickly pull on away as we go through tomorrow. If you're wanting some better weather, you see a ridge build in going forward. The rest of your work week, temperatures will moderate. And again, there is better weather ahead. So the updated 12-day again for today, it's really just snow likely. Temperatures go in reverse. Dangerously cold tonight, but you can see through the rest of your work week, temperatures do moderate back into the 50s. That's technically still below normal, but compared to what we're seeing out there today, again, there is definitely better weather ahead and just around the corner there. So what I want to do, I want to go back to our team of trackers. I want to get an update from them. Again, we've got Mike Russ out in west central Oklahoma. We've got Aaron Spencer here in central Oklahoma. And again, they've basically been keeping an eye on the roadways and also reporting back what's been going on, at least so far this morning. So guys, you're on the live line. Let's start with Aaron. Again, he's here in central Oklahoma. And like I mentioned, he's essentially been driving the roadways this morning. Aaron, tell us where you are now and give us an update on the road conditions around the Oklahoma City Metro.
Yes, William. We're still on I-35 north, about 1/4 of a mile just to the south of Northeast 63rd Street. And again, the snow has tapered off once again over in north parts of Oklahoma City. It's one of those heavier bands kind of just went through. So, it's kind of at that dead zone like we were just a little bit ago. But I wouldn't doubt that another couple of waves do come through. But, as I'm looking over at the grass right now, it looks like most of the accumulated snow has already begun to melt. So, all the snow that we got this morning, and plus as of right now, the snow is tapering off. The snow is already kind of melting. But as we were coming through downtown Oklahoma City, I did find a couple of slick spots just as we were coming to the south part of Oklahoma City. So, definitely be careful again on the roadways and overpasses. Even if the roads or bridges or overpasses don't look slick, it doesn't mean that they're not. So, definitely take your time wherever you're going. Again, as both you, William, and Mike both said, if you do not have to get out today, definitely stay home and, just kind of enjoy your day off, or just, kind of enjoy your day of watching the snow fall, and just don't go outside, because it's not worth risking your life or somebody else's if you have to go out, for something small. It's better safe than sorry. William, back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, really appreciate that update and great work in central Oklahoma so far this morning as well. If there's anything, just get back to us and let us know. But right now, again, it looks like for the most part, traffic moving fairly smooth in central Oklahoma. We have had a couple reports of accidents so far this morning, but at least right now, the reports from Aaron, traffic moving okay. So we're going to check back in with him, again, coming up here momentarily. I want to go back out to Mike. This is where we've had more more in the way of accumulating snow is out in western Oklahoma. And Mike, I don't think you're in the Weatherford area anymore, you mentioned. I think you said you were heading out towards Elk City. Tell us where you are now and give us an update on what you're seeing out there in western Oklahoma. And Mike, are you still on the live line with us?
That's going to be about 7 miles east of Elk City, Oklahoma. But right now, traffic has slowed down on I-40 through here as we have another snow band that's moving through right now, kind of hampering road conditions right now. One of the big stories out here is the wind. It is definitely windy, and that's also playing a factor into driving on these roadways. Because some of these wind gusts, fast track through with a high-profile SUV, I can definitely feel it every now and then hit the side of the truck broadside, and that it kind of gets you a little bit nervous knowing that these roads are not exactly pristine conditions, so to speak, right now. But again, ODOT has been out here. They have done an amazing job keeping I-40 clear. It is, as far as I can tell, it's just wet. One big driving tip that I learned a lot of years ago, I believe they teach it in driver's ed and everything too. And it's kind of an easy one to forget. But as you come up to bridges and overpasses, it's always better to go ahead and let off the accelerator and coast across those. Because these bridges and overpasses, I can tell you, there are some of these that are slushy, and I don't want to chance it. So I do exactly what we were taught, and I go ahead and let off the accelerator, and I'm making it across just fine. But I am afraid some of these are going to be very slick and dangerous overpasses and bridges, William. But again, ODOT's been out here doing a phenomenal job of keeping I-40 clear. And actually, as the snow band comes through, you're starting to see some accumulating snow here, even on I-40 right now, as ODOT continues to try to get out here and keep these roads clear. So again, we're just taking everything very slowly out here. But William, I can tell you, the farther west I go, there is definitely more snow accumulation out here, even than there was in Weatherford. Clinton seems to have gotten kind of lucky, so to speak, and didn't get quite the conditions. But wow, this shot here, William, that's coming up, the drifting or the blowing snow across a roadway. This just tells the whole story. And again, if you're in central Oklahoma, this kind of gives you a cue of what's coming your way today throughout the day. So again, I know I probably sound like a broken record, but if you don't have to get out, don't get out. Just enjoy kind of watching Aaron and myself be out here taking things very carefully, very slow. Just wow. But again, just don't be out if you don't have to. It's definitely not worth it out here.
Mike, really appreciate that update, and a great job again out there, kind of battling through the conditions. Obviously, there has been more snow in western Oklahoma. I mean, it snowed throughout the night out there. Temperatures have been below freezing out there, so just a little bit of a different story out there. Again, it is still snowing here in central Oklahoma. We're hovering right at freezing, 32, 33 here in central Oklahoma, and we're not seeing quite as much in the way of accumulation. Even here in Norman, when I was heading to the office very early this morning, it was snowing, and we were seeing a little bit more in the way of accumulation on the ground, but even right now, just kind of looking out from our office, Main Street and Collier in downtown Norman, there is some accumulation, but right now it's traced to maybe a half an inch, at least here in central Oklahoma. And again, that's essentially what Aaron is seeing. You're seeing Aaron's video on the bottom side of your screen, and that's in central Oklahoma. Again, Mike Russ out there in west central Oklahoma, and you can see it's just 9 days. It's a completely different story out there in west central Oklahoma. Mike, I want to stick with your video here just a little bit longer. And maybe it's just kind of catching up with what you were talking about. We kind of saw you go through that narrowing there. Then again, you can actually even see some ruts in the roadways there. But I mean, we're seeing the blowing snow. Winds are gusting 20, 30 miles per hour out there in west central Oklahoma, but just a completely different story in west central Oklahoma than again what we're seeing here in central Oklahoma. But again, almost some whiteout conditions there. Continue to kind of update us out there in west central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. At times we are having complete whiteout conditions on I-40. Visibilities can drop to just maybe a couple hundred feet out here at times. But again, everyone's taking it slow. ODOT's been doing a great job out here taking care of the roadways. But again, it is tough to keep up with it when it's blowing across the road and still snowing at this time. So again, it's not worth it to get out if you don't have to. We're trained. I've driven a lot of miles in snow and ice. We know how to take things very carefully. But again, if you don't have to, please don't be out on this. Because again, like I keep saying, this will show you kind of what Central Oklahoma's in store for today as it continues to move through. But again, out here in Elk City, William, this is probably where we're seeing definitely those 6-inch snowfall rates. This is, wow, in fact, I'm coming into whiteout conditions, ground blizzard conditions right now again. But this is definitely a lot more snow than even Weatherford here. So again, these are very dangerous conditions out here. We definitely want people to be safe. But again, one of the things I'm very, very happy with, William, is I'm not seeing any wrecks. I'm not seeing anybody that's ran off the road that's already been cleared up. I mean, people are definitely heeding the warnings, taking it slow, and or just staying home today. So that is great news. I love that I'm not having to see anything like that out here. So that makes me feel like everyone kind of took this event seriously. But this is, again, these are very dangerous conditions out here at times. And of course, we're trying to be as safe as possible out here. But again, we have drifts across even I-40 here as the snow continues to fall and the wind blows out here. But again, that wind, William, is very, very strong at times out here in western Oklahoma. So again, I'll be having video from inside Elk City, Oklahoma, as I'm actually pulling into the first exit now here in Elk City, Oklahoma. So we're going to try to get out, and I'm going to try to get a measurement here, William, and see exactly maybe how much snow has fallen out here.
Okay, we're going to do that. Let's check right back in with Mike. Great job out there. I mean, amazing video coming in. I mean, completely different story out there in western Oklahoma than what we're seeing in central Oklahoma. I would imagine there's some 6-inch amounts out there. The Panhandle, the Texas Panhandle, had some 7- and 8-inch amounts overnight. So, this is definitely a different story in western Oklahoma. In central Oklahoma, we're just not seeing as much in the way of accumulation, and there's not as much in the way of roadway impacts in central Oklahoma. I want to go back to Aaron Spencer here. He's been driving around central Oklahoma, basically keeping his eye on the roadways here. And Aaron, it looks like you're starting to get back into some snow. I think we've got a moderate snow band, it looks like, moving back in here through central Oklahoma. We have another moderate snow band that'll be moving in over the next 20 minutes in central Oklahoma as well. So the snow does continue. Tell us where you are now, and it looks like we are definitely starting to see more in the way of accumulation, even on the sides of the roadways there where you are. But Aaron, give us an update.
Yes, William. We are in far north Edmond. We're actually just on the south part of Oklahoma and Logan County. So we're almost at that line that we're going to be crossing over into Logan County. But yes, William, you're right. The accumulation has picked up. I actually just checked my radar that I have here in the car, and we're about to be entering that strong, the heavy snow band that is going through central Logan County and also downtown Guthrie. as we speak. So we're going to be heading up there. We're going to be checking the road conditions because they have been having just a little bit heavier snowfall than, downtown Oklahoma City and North Norman, as we were looking at earlier. But as you guys can see on the live stream, that the accumulation on the ground is a little bit better than what it was in again downtown Oklahoma City, North Norman area. So we're definitely going to be giving you guys updates as we get closer to Guthrie and just checking on all the overpasses as well as the bridges that we're going to be crossing as we're getting close to downtown Guthrie. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that, and good job as well covering central Oklahoma and kind of battling the conditions there as well. I want to do a quick radar update here. Then we're going to check back in with Mike. He's got a lot going on out there in west central Oklahoma. But again, you can see kind of this band, or this next band now, of moderate snow that's moving through. You see kind of the darker blue there, medium shade of blue, from Luther all the way down through Edmond, the Village, downtown Oklahoma City. Again, some moderate snow in progress. In fact, our downtown Oklahoma City cam, let's go and take a look at that. And again, you can actually see from downtown Oklahoma City kind of that white haze there in the background. You can actually see the snowflakes there as well. But again, we've definitely got snow that continues in progress there in downtown Oklahoma City. And again, it is a moderate snow that does continue. As far as accumulations, as we're kind of looking at the grass there, not seeing much in the way of accumulation. That's essentially looking there at the movie place there, and then also again looking directly there into downtown Oklahoma City, the Harkins Theater there in downtown Oklahoma City. So snow continues, but at least right now, not much in the way of accumulation currently here in central Oklahoma. So spotty amounts here in Norman. We've had a little bit in the way of accumulation as well, but it's fairly spotty in central Oklahoma. But it's a much different story in other parts of the state, including western Oklahoma. We'll talk more about that coming up momentarily. So a secondary snow band, you see it out there from Piedmont down around Yukon, Mustang, back down through Tuttle. That will also be moving in over the next 20 minutes or so. Some more moderate snow will continue here in central Oklahoma. Let's go out here into portions of western Oklahoma. And the snow, it's tapering off some now in western Oklahoma. Weatherford, there's a little bit of a break in the action there. Where Mike is out there around the Elk City area, snow does continue. Fairly light snow, though, now, even up across portions of Dewey County, west central Oklahoma, Woodward back up through Harper County, where we've had reports of possibly 6 inches of snow. Up around the Buffalo area, slick and hazardous travel being reported there as well. Snow kind of tapering off there. And then north central Oklahoma, Enid, Ponca City, where you folks were getting moderate snow throughout a good portion of the morning. The snow tapering off to an extent there as well. Now, if you're around the Stillwater area up there in Orange Country, heavy snow in progress around Stillwater. Also, the Turner Turnpike between Oklahoma City and Tulsa, areas of moderately heavy snow continue up and down that corridor there. And then even downtown Tulsa here, moderate to moderately heavy snow does continue from the northern sides of town, really around downtown Tulsa, all the way back down through Bixby and Jinx. Around the Bixby area right now, it's a rain-snow mix. Now, for our friends over in eastern and southeastern Oklahoma, so far it's only been a chilly rain. Basically, the I-40 corridor there around the Coweta, back over through Sallisaw area, Fort Smith, Arkansas, back over through McAllister, Poto, and all the way down through Hugo, Idabel, Pushmataha County, some of those locations, Lake Broken Bow. Scattered chilly rain showers. Also around the Ardmore area, scattered chilly rain showers. Could be a few flakes of snow mixing in there, but not really a big deal. And then again, as you get back here into the Oklahoma City metro, basically from Chickasha all the way up to downtown Oklahoma City, snow continues. Looking down for our friends in Lawton, you folks down in Lawton did have some snow. The Wichita Mountains down there, Medicine Park, Elgin, some of those hometowns. There was snow down there throughout the night, throughout the early morning. That is essentially tapering off. So again, there's going to be a gradual trend here as we continue to go through the morning of this snow continuing to push into eastern, northeastern Oklahoma, and then eventually out of Oklahoma. I'll show you future radar on that coming up here momentarily. Let's go back over to Mike Russ. Again, he's out there around the Elk City area, out in west central Oklahoma, really far western Oklahoma, and there's been more in the way of snow out there. But Mike, tell us where you are and give us an update.
Yes, William. I'm actually, it's not Main Street, but it's one of the main thoroughfares in Elk City. It's 3rd Street. And, William, I can tell you they definitely received a pretty good dumping of snow out here, in pretty healthy amounts. Now, I haven't been able to pull over yet and actually get a good snow total yet, but I've I'm finding where good areas here where I'm going to be able to pull off and get a pretty good accurate reading of our snow amounts here. But again, this is roads are not bad here inside Elk City, at least the main roads here. They're also just wet, but ODOT is definitely out. We're even seeing them here inside city limits of Elk City. Elk City also has their crews out, just as Weatherford did this morning. They're really taking it serious. People are driving much slower than normal. Everyone's taking their time, William, and I'm glad to see that. I really, really am. So again, it's just one of those days where if you don't have to get out, please don't get out. It's not worth it. We're out here, we do this. We're specially trained. We watch for you guys.
No, absolutely, Mike. And I don't know if we lost you there momentarily. If you're still there, you just kind of cut off there, so I'm not sure if we lost you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great job out there in Elk City, Mike. And again, we can definitely see the accumulating snow. And we'll get a total from you coming up here momentarily as well, when you kind of have an opportunity. But again, it's spotty, but there are areas out there that did receive 4 to 6 inches. And snow's kind of a weird deal where it's not always that it's a continuous area 4 to 6, but there's normally what you call snow bursts or areas that do get a little more snow than other areas. So, snow totals can range greatly, and that's what we're seeing. But out there in west central Oklahoma, there's been several areas that look like, at least to me, that it was most likely around 6 inches of snow. And even while Mike was driving on I-40 earlier, he had some blowing snow. Winds are whipping over 30 miles per hour. We'll take a look at winds, temperatures, and kind of a forecast update coming up here momentarily. I also want to check in with Aaron Spencer, but of course, before we do that, I also want to invite the folks out there to share their weather pictures with us as well. You can either send those in via Twitter or also on the Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV mobile app under Share Weather Pictures. We started to get a few in here, and so again, if you have some pictures from the morning snow, feel free to share those with us as well. But Aaron, you're in central Oklahoma. You're still on the live line. Go ahead and tell us where you are now. And it looks like you're seeing more in the way of snow and accumulating snow than you did in downtown Oklahoma City.
Yes, William, that's correct. We are just now getting into Guthrie. We're still on I-35 northbound. Again, yes, the snow is accumulating more than it was earlier, especially whenever we were down in the Oklahoma City metro. We just also had a ODOT truck pass us, so they're definitely out making sure the roadways are safe enough for vehicles to travel through them. I didn't see him putting any of the salt sand mix down yet, so that means that they haven't quite found any slick spots or believe that they need to put that down yet. But I will say that the snow is starting to pick up again. As I'm looking out in front of me, I can see probably about half a mile to a quarter of a mile out in front of me, and then kind of starts losing visibility. So snow is definitely coming down more. Also, like Mike Russ was saying just a little bit ago, the winds are strong. They're not quite as strong as they are in western Oklahoma, but I can definitely feel the wind gusts as they're hitting the car. They're kind of throwing me around on the interstate just a little bit, every now and then. So definitely not just the snow that's a factor, but as well as the wind could throw you around just a little bit, especially if you hit one of those slick spots at a time that the wind gust hits you. That could definitely be a problem. It could make you spin out of control. So just definitely take it easy if you guys have to get out today. And if you guys are traveling from work or getting some of the kiddos from school, early, definitely just take it safe there and also back home. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update there as well. And Mike, yeah, you're still on the live line. Go ahead. You're still out there in west central Oklahoma, out around Elk City, really far western Oklahoma. Looks like you've got a shot of more snow and lots of accumulating snow. Mike, go and give us an update on that.
Yes, William. I was able to get out there and measure the way they teach us how to measure snowfall amounts in an open area, not a drift, anything like that. And William, I can tell you, I measured 6 inches here, about 6.5. So and that's on a plain area. Again, that's going to be, I don't believe that's true totals here, just because of the wind out here. I believe there's going to be drifts that are going to be much heavier than that. But again, that's what I'm getting right now on a plain grassy surface in the open. I've got 6 inches to 6.5 so far here in Elk City, Oklahoma. But I can also tell you the parking lot I pulled into appeared to be just wet. And William, upon my getting out of the truck, I realized very quickly that it's not just wet. That parking lot was definitely slushy and slick. So again, you know, that kind of tells you that things are not always what they appear out here with this particular storm. So again, take it easy. Take your time. Be careful. Allow plenty of space between you and the vehicle in front of you. But again, William, we're not seeing accidents out here. So that makes me feel like everyone took this storm very seriously, and they're either staying home today. Again, as a lot of businesses celebrate or are observing Veterans Day today, some people had the opportunity to be off work today, and then some schools have canceled, stuff like that. So again, William, where people are staying home, it looks like, because at this time of the day in Elk City, there is a lot more traffic than this. So I can tell you, people are definitely heeding the warnings. They're taking it very carefully, staying home. So that makes me very happy out here that a lot of people are heeding those warnings that we had days ago. So again, just be careful out there. We're going to continue to be out here tracking everything as the snow continues to fall throughout western Oklahoma and central Oklahoma, William.
All right, Mike Russ, really appreciate that update. Great job again out there battling the conditions. Again, Mike Russ in west central Oklahoma, really far western Oklahoma. He's out around Elk City. That's pretty close to the Oklahoma-Texas state line. We've got Aaron Spencer in central Oklahoma around the Edmond north area. I think he's back up in portions of Logan County now. We're going to check back in with Aaron coming up momentarily. But I want to talk about some road conditions around the state as well. This is important information here. The areas of yellow, still officially from ODOT, being reported as slick and spots. So central Oklahoma up through the Tulsa metro, southwestern Oklahoma, that means there are slick spots out there. Use extreme caution. That's essentially what we're seeing on our trackers video there. And then also from the Oklahoma Panhandle into far northwestern Oklahoma, there are reports there of slick and hazardous. So travel a little more treacherous in the Panhandle and essentially Harper County there in northwestern Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma, you can continue to see the snow in progress. It's a moderate snow. You see the white haze there off in the distance. So a moderate snow does continue in central Oklahoma. Temperatures easing down. Essentially now in central Oklahoma, we are at freezing. Multiple 32 reports now, and so temperatures will ease down as we go through the day. About an hour and a half ago, we were essentially at our daytime highs. That's all downhill now as far as the temperatures go. West central Oklahoma, out there where Mike Russ is, temperatures have been below freezing really as we went through the night while it was snowing out there. That's why we've seen more in the way of accumulating snow in that part of the state. So more temperatures around Oklahoma, and we've kind of got things double boxed here, so it's kind of a little bit harder to see these temperatures, but we're essentially in the mid-20s in the Panhandle, lots of 20s and 30s in the north, below freezing there, now dropping below freezing here in central Oklahoma, right around 30 where Mike is out there in Elk City. That would be right about out in here in far western Oklahoma. And so then essentially for our friends over in southeastern parts of the state, temperatures are still in the 40s. We're talking about a chilly rain for most of the day in that part of the state. Here are the northerly winds, and again, this has caused some at least blowing snow while Mike was driving out on I-40 out in western Oklahoma, but live wind gusts here. They're coming in from the north, and they're gusting 30 to at times 40 miles per hour in western Oklahoma. So it is causing some blowing snow across I-40. That will cause some visibility issues. But the other story with this is it's aggravating those wind chill factors around Oklahoma, primarily in the teens in the northwest and north, 19 to 23 here in central Oklahoma. Wind chill factors where Mike Russ is, his video coming in there from Elk City. at plus 14. So again, anytime the wind chill factors dip down into the single digits or teens, those are dangerously cold. Again, the snow through noon will continue to push over into portions of eastern Oklahoma. And then as we go throughout the afternoon, look how quickly the snow tapers off there. Central Oklahoma, the Tulsa metro, by your 5 p.m. evening commute, the snow will be over. But again, the roadways, they will still be wet and damp. And again, temperatures will be below freezing. So there could be still some travel issues even as we get closer to your evening commute in central Oklahoma and the Tulsa metro. Heaviest band of snow, central Oklahoma pushing into eastern Oklahoma. That's through noon today. Chilly rain continues down in the southeast. Snow tapers off gradually as we go through the afternoon. Temperatures in free fall through the afternoon. We've essentially hit our daytime highs in central Oklahoma. We're basically from 31 down to 29. Snow tapers off throughout the day, but again, still we'll call it damp out there, and it's still going to be bitterly cold again for your evening commute in central Oklahoma. So through the rest of the day today, we've seen that 3 to 6 inch amount up there across portions of northwestern Oklahoma. There are areas, this area of red, I think, does need to be pulled down towards the Weatherford area. There are areas of 3 to 6, even across portions of far western Oklahoma, like we're seeing there. Again, from Mike Russ's video, I think 1 to 3 will be common in central Oklahoma, and then maybe a trace amount down across portions of far southeastern parts of the state. Primary travel impacts will be the bridges and overpasses. Definitely keep those in mind. Roadways, fairly minimal impact, but still slick in spots. Keep that in mind. Wind chill factors in the danger zone category as we go through the day today and tonight as well. So then the other big story, as we really transition out of the active snow into the overnight period, the skies will clear, but with the snow on the ground, these are overnight lows here from essentially 10 degrees above zero in the north to right around plus 17 here in central Oklahoma, 20s down in the south, wind chill factors in the single digits and teens around Oklahoma. So this will be a dangerously cold night. And again, just to underscore one more time, your livestock, your outdoor pets, your outdoor animals, your cattle, this will be dangerously cold for them as well. So make sure that you're making those winterization preparations for them for a brutally cold night. Don't be caught off guard by that as we get into tonight. And then for tomorrow, a bit of a better day. The sun does return, and 30s and 40s around the state here. But again, overall, tomorrow still looking like a fairly cold day tomorrow as well. Once the system moves out, we do have better weather ahead. In fact, we have a ridge of high pressure that builds in and moderating temperatures. So really, the rest of your work week not looking too bad. Temperatures in general will trend below normal, but compared to the winter weather that we're seeing out there today and the dangerously cold temperatures tonight, again, you see there is definitely better weather on down the way. So I want to do this. I want to go back over to Mike Russ. I know he's got another shot out there in west central Oklahoma. He was just whispering there in my ear. Mike, we're looking at your shot there, and man, I tell you what, still lots of accumulating snow out there around the Elk City area. Give us an update. Tell us exactly where you are, and tell us about these pictures coming in.
Yes, William. I'm on the west side of Elk City right now. I cannot remember the name of this road, but as I've got the trees, and I mean, you can see the white on this barbed wire fence, even kind of outlining the barbed wire fence. I mean, that kind of tells you how wet and sticky this snow is. Now I'm going to go ahead and move because I was kind of blocking the roadway to get that shot. But that'll tell you it is a very wet, heavy snow, and I'm actually afraid that we may actually have had an accident a little farther down the road. Elk City Fire Department, Fire Rescue, and ambulance has just gone westbound. So we may have had our first accident that I've seen in western Oklahoma so far. So I'm going to try to get on that and see what happened there. But if I were guessing, somebody was probably going too fast for the conditions and kind of slid, and that may have been what caused an accident out there. But again, that'll just tell you how heavy the snow is. And I mean, like, look, you're going to see a shot here in a minute with drifts, William, that have completely inundated this road. And these drifts have got to be probably a foot to a foot and a half deep, actually, out here, William. So this is a very wet, heavy snow. It's going to be slick and dangerous in spots. There's no doubt in my mind, William. So again, take things very carefully, very slow today. I know I sound like a broken record. If you don't have to get out, don't get out.
No, Mike, Russ, and that's a great advice there. But again, really dramatic video coming in from western Oklahoma. The folks out there, again, in west central Oklahoma, easily areas of 3 to 6 inches. Again, with snow, it's kind of a weird animal where not everyone typically gets the same amount, but there's snow bursts in areas that get, heavier amounts. And again, we're even seeing some of that blowing snow there from Mike's shot as well. Again, winds are gusting 30, 40 miles per hour. And again, in his shot, you can actually kind of see the snow blowing across the road. So again, this is, again, what you would call a winter storm because you have the snow, you have the wind, and really as we go through the day today, we have the bitterly cold temperatures building in. So this is an outright winter storm that we're primarily seeing across portions of western Oklahoma. Mike, I think, is having to kind of turn around in the road there a little bit. You're seeing that in a shot. But again, you're still seeing that heavy snow out there. And again, you're also seeing the blowing snow as well as winds are gusting over 40 miles per hour. Again, where Mike was, we just talked about that a second ago. Wind chill factor out there in Elk City, it's currently plus 14. So again, dangerously cold in west central Oklahoma. I want to talk about what's going on in central Oklahoma as well. Aaron, I know you've kind of been driving the interstates here in central Oklahoma. And for the most part, the good news is, as we've gone through the morning, we didn't have much in the way of accidents. That is absolutely great news. But we are starting to see more in the way of accumulating snow now, even here in central Oklahoma as well. Aaron, I want to go and pull up your live shot. Tell us where you are now and give us an update from your location there.
Yes, William. We are just to the east of Mulhall right now. I'm actually about to cross over Mulhall Road, which goes into the south side of downtown Mulhall off of I-35. There is a ODOT truck in front of me. I should go to that here in just a second. But he is traveling northbound on I-35, heading towards Mulhall Road. So he is definitely going to be checking out the overpasses and bridges to make sure, they're still drivable. Which, we'll see here in just a second if he puts some of that salt sand mix out, which he is. So they're definitely starting to sand and salt the bridges and overpasses, just in case, because the temperatures are a little bit lower up here than they are further south as you go. So they're definitely taking in mind of that one. But I have not seen any accidents yet today, which is good. I have seen one report of one off of I-40, which is going to be further south. But other than that, I haven't even seen that many reports of accidents, just one here and there. So it's definitely good. Like Mike said, it seems like people are taking more in effect of this winter storm. They're not driving crazy or they're not getting out if they don't have to. So that's definitely a great thing. And again, definitely don't get out if you don't have to. If it's an emergency, and you have to get out, definitely be careful and just take in effect that everybody, check your surroundings, drive slow, and just get from point A to point B as safe as possible. So back to you.
Yeah, Aaron, great report there as well. Now, I mean, here in central Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City Metro, you were primarily here as we went through the morning. You're now north of the Oklahoma City Metro. You're kind of up there in Logan County, Mulhall, just kind of north of Guthrie there. It's an exit off of I-35. But, I mean, it's significantly wider where you are now. There's been more accumulating snow, and it was it was freezing there overnight as well. Temperatures were below freezing, and really as we went through the overnight period, there was more snow there. And so here in central Oklahoma, I think kind of our saving grace, if you really didn't want a lot of snow to impact your morning commute, is the fact that we are hovering just above freezing. We don't have to be below freezing to have snow, but as far as to help kind of get it to accumulate on some of the grassy surfaces and stuff like that, it normally helps to be below freezing at least for a couple hours before the snow starts. That's what happened in western Oklahoma. That's what happened in northern Oklahoma, but the pictures are dramatically different. You get 45 minutes north of Oklahoma City, 30 minutes north of Oklahoma City, and again, you can see there's been some snow. Aaron, what would you guesstimate snow on the ground? It looks like maybe 2 inches on the ground. What would you guesstimate there?
Right now, where we're at, which is just to the west of Stillwater, we're actually about to get off on the Stillwater exit, kind of go downtown Stillwater to see, if the accumulation amount is any higher than it is, where we have been so far, because the stronger bands have went through a couple times up here in Stillwater. But right now, we're looking right at probably about an inch to an inch and a half, which is kind of what we're estimating up here in the Stillwater area. So as we get closer, we'll definitely, try to get a closer amount, as well as show you guys kind of what we're seeing. William?
Yeah, Aaron, appreciate that. And there has been some heavy snow in the Stillwater area. And in fact, even as we kind of go back over to our triple box here, again, right now in Stillwater, there's still some moderately heavy snow. And as I kind of move this around a little bit, where you're seeing the blue going to the darker blue, there's been some fairly heavy snow. So I would anticipate, some 3-inch amounts as you're coming in there to Stillwater. So we'll check that again coming up here momentarily. I want to do a quick radar update, and I really appreciate as well the folks that have sent in pictures through the mobile app. I'd sent out a push notification on that earlier, and I just looked at my iPhone, and my email's absolutely blown up. So we'll go through and sort through those, and we'll show some of those a little bit later on. But really appreciate that. That's a new feature we just added to the app. But again, thanks for sending those pictures in there as well. Let's go and talk about the radar here. Let's kind of do a radar tour. And so, again, eastern Oklahoma, just quickly to highlight eastern, southeastern Oklahoma, it's a chilly rain down there. So for you folks down there, it's only a chilly rain. Again, we have these moderate snow bands that continue to move through central Oklahoma. We have one basically from Luther all the way down through Choctaw. The darker blues on the snow reflectivity here is the higher snowfall rate, so the more intense snow, and that does now extend all the way down into Moore. You see the blue down there as well. There's some lighter snow down here in Norman. Moderate snow now moving out of downtown Oklahoma City, but there will be a band of moderate snow that moves back into the Edmond area. I want to quickly take a look at our downtown Oklahoma City cam here, just to kind of verify what we're seeing on radar. And again, you can see, compared to earlier, it is still snowing, and there is still some moderate snow in progress. But earlier we kind of had the whiteout conditions, no longer whiteout, but there's some still decent moderate snow falling there in downtown Oklahoma City. I want to go up further to the north here. And this is where Aaron was. This is where his report was from. There's the Mulhall area right there. And so, again, moderate snow in progress where Aaron is. And, again, he's going to be moving over here to Stillwater. And, again, you see the mediums going to dark blues. That is another round of heavy snow moving into Stillwater. So we'll get a shot of that coming up momentarily as Aaron's going to be heading eastbound. Far northern Oklahoma, Enid, Ponca City, snow kind of winding down there. Still some spotty areas of snow around the Enid area. Back over through Woods, Harper County. Of course, this part of the state, we've had at least 6 to maybe 8 inches of snow up around the Harper County area. Winter storm warnings continue there. Also for Beaver County out in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Again, it just started to snow there overnight and basically continued through the overnight period. This is where Mike Russ is in west central Oklahoma, out there around the Elk City area. And snow does continue a little bit lighter, though, from Elk City through Foss all the way back over through Weatherford, talking about the I-40 corridor, and then also back up through Sealing, Putnam, Thomas, Harmon, even back out there through portions of Roger Mills County, Cheyenne. You folks still seeing some snow. And again, there has been some moderately heavy snow there as we went through the overnight period with accumulations. Still spotty areas of snow, very light snow down around Lawton and the Fort Sill area. There has been some snow there in the Wichita Mountains overnight, Medicine Park, also back over through Elgin as well. Then as we go down into portions of southern Oklahoma, snow line basically goes as far south as Pauls Valley. Once you kind of start getting into the Arbuckle Mountains there around Sulphur and Davis, we primarily transition back over to rain. It could be a little bit of a rain-snow mix, but not much in the way of accumulation there. Chilly rain showers now down around the Ardmore area. And then also quickly for our friends up here around T-Town, there is moderate to at times moderately heavy snow moving through Tulsa. And in fact, even the southern sides of towns, Jinx and even Bixby, seeing some of that snow there. But again, the Turner Turnpike from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, it's basically intermittent moderate snow. So there may be some travel slowdowns along that. So keep that in mind. So that's kind of a radar update. We'll talk about the forecast as well coming up here momentarily. I want to get back out into western Oklahoma. We've seen a little bit more in the way of accumulating snow, or in some cases a lot more in the way of accumulating snow out there. And Mike, Russ, you're out there in the Elk City area. We've had some guesstimates and some of your shots as we've gone throughout the morning of maybe 6 inches of snow out there between Weatherford and Elk City. Again, spotty areas. Typically with snow, not everybody sees the same amount, but as you get these little snow bursts, some locations do receive more. But the roads look quite slushy where you are as well. So Mike, give us an update on that. This is important information here for our friends out there in far western Oklahoma.
Yes, William. I'm still in the Elk City area as these winds continue to blow the snow across the roadways and everything. I'm actually seeing, I've never seen this before. ODOT has become very aggressive on their road clearing. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing. Okay, we do have an accident here, William. I am slowing down right now. It's going to be my shot. Oh, wow. We have an overturned semi, William. It has completely gone sideways across the road. This is, wow. I don't have a safe area to pull off here, William, at this time. But, yes, that'll tell you how slick these conditions are out here. Just, wow. Semi just completely on its side out here on I-40 westbound.
I think your video, typically, and Mike, and I hate to interrupt you, I'm just going to say this real quick just for the viewers. The video, the stream is normally 15 to 30 seconds behind. So I think if you're wondering what is Mike talking about, I think we're about to see it possibly up over this hill here. So again, the live stream, typically it's 15 to about 30 seconds delayed. It's just one of those technical things. There's nothing we can do about that. But Mike, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to kind of preface it with that. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, I hope that catches up soon. You should get a pretty good shot of that. But that'll tell you the roads are slick out here, especially as the wind continues to pick up. The winds are these roads are definitely deteriorating out here in the Elk City area. So it just goes to show you can be taken off guard so easily out here that, I mean, it can change in the blink of an eye. So, again, traffic, I-40 is going to be shut down westbound right now, heading towards Sayre from Elk City. I mean, the semi is completely across the roadway, William. So it's going to take a minute for them to get that cleaned up. Now, the good thing is ambulatory services, I don't believe the driver was injured. Ambulatory services were coming back into Elk City without running towed or anything towards the hospital. So I don't know that he was actually injured. So maybe that's a good sign that he just kind of laid the semi over and, you know, that was the worst case scenario, so to speak. But wreckers are on scene, Highway Patrol, Beckham County, as well as Elk City Police Department. And they're out here, like I said, I-40 westbound at Elk City. On the west side of Elk City is going to be shut down now for probably a little bit until they can get this semi back upright and off the roadway.
Yeah, not a good situation out there. And it just kind of underscores the fact that the roads are not necessarily treacherous. They're not necessarily slick and hazardous, but they are slick in spots, as we've kind of been highlighting throughout the morning. And all it takes is that one slick spot. Unfortunately, you don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. Nobody knows where it is. But when you hit that one slick spot, that's all it takes to then have some travel issues. We saw that kind of sporadically this morning around the Oklahoma City metro. Knock on wood, things have been fairly good as far as the accidents go. We haven't really had to show much of that as we've gone through the morning. But again, Mike did just have that one. And anytime, obviously, a semi is overturned, not a good situation. Obviously, he hit a slick spot, and, that was that. So not a good situation out there. But you can see the roadways overall are quite passable. You've got to use extreme caution because just like Mike said, once you hit that slick spot, there's really not much you can do. I want to shift gears here just momentarily, and we're going to get right back to Mike. And Mike, if you have anything else from out there, let us know. But I want to get up into portions of northern Oklahoma, north central Oklahoma. And that's where Aaron Spencer is. And Aaron, I know you're heading, I believe, back over towards the Stillwater area. Tell us where you are now, Aaron, and give us a live update where you are right now.
Yes, William. We are about 5 miles outside of Stillwater right now. We are still traveling to the east, heading that way. The snow has tempered down quite a bit since we talked on the phone last, but there's definitely quite a bit of snow on the ground. There's probably a little bit more than what there was whenever we were going through Guthrie. I would estimate probably about 2 to 2 3/4 of an inch here in parts of western Stillwater right now. But again, we're still not quite in downtown, so it could definitely change from where we are right now to about the time that we get into Stillwater. Road conditions are also looking pretty good. Again, like I said about 15, 20 minutes ago, ODOT is taking pretty good care of the bridges that are coming into Stillwater, so, that's definitely a good thing. Maybe even if the bridges and overpasses aren't slick, they're still just taking that precaution so they don't have to worry about that later. And I'm also looking at the sides of the road, and I can see that the snow has that darker brown texture to it, which means that they've already been putting out the salt and sand mix. So that's definitely good. That's probably why these roads aren't as wet as the ones were over in Oklahoma City as well as North Norman. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the road conditions as well as the snowfall rate. And we'll definitely give you a live update here soon. William, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. And again, great job. Aaron's kind of been all through the Oklahoma City Metro. Again, knock on wood, luckily the morning commute in the Oklahoma City Metro was fairly quiet. There were a few accidents around, but there were no major travel impacts, no major travel slowdowns this morning. He's now kind of gone to the north. He was up through Logan County, and he's now back over around the Stillwater area. And there is still some moderately heavy snow moving through the Stillwater area as well. What I want to do, we're going to check back in with our team of trackers coming up here just momentarily. Guys, if you have anything to add, just let me know and we'll get right back to you. But we'll kind of keep their shots up there. Sounds like Mike maybe does. Mike, go ahead. I heard you in my ear there. Did you have something to add from your shot there in Elk City?
Yes. I know it's kind of hard to see, but in my shot, it should be coming up if it hasn't already, William. They have shut down I-40 westbound. They are detouring traffic through Elk City right now. You can kind of make out the patrol car at the top of the hill, but they are pulling traffic off of I-40. They've got it completely blocked off now and rerouting everybody through town here. So again, Elk City just got a lot more traffic due to that overturned semi just a couple miles farther down the road to the west, William.
Yeah, and we can see that. I think your shot just now caught up, and there's the patrol car he was talking about there. I'm not sure if that's OHP or if that's just a city PD there. But so they're basically diverting traffic off of I-40. Just a few minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago, Mike had an overturned semi that was completely blocking part of I-40. So now they're essentially diverting traffic through Elk City, again, on this snowy day where there continue to be slick spots. So we'll monitor that. But again, that's a pretty big traffic snarl, if you will, again, out there in west central Oklahoma. Elk City's out in Beckham County, pretty close to the Oklahoma-Texas line. But again, that's far western Oklahoma. And again, you can see the difference in snowfall amounts out there as well. Again, snow has been much more accumulating out in that part of the state. We've had some estimates from Mike of maybe 3 to 6 inch totals out there. We've had some reports out in the Texas Panhandle overnight of some near 8-inch amounts. So again, locations that were below freezing overnight and where the snow started earlier overnight, we've definitely seen more in the way of accumulation. And out there, just to underscore as well, the wind chill factor where Mike is in Elk City, it's currently plus 14, and we've got winds from the north gusting to near 40 miles per hour. So this is an outright winter storm in west central Oklahoma and far western Oklahoma. You've got the winds gusting near 40. You've got possibly pockets of 6 inches of snow that we're looking at there right now. And also, again, you have those wind chill factors down in the teens, and they will continue to drop as those temperatures continue to drop throughout the day as well. So a much different story in western Oklahoma than what we're dealing with right now in central Oklahoma. And again, Mike's video right there really telling that story as well. So we'll get right back to the trackers coming up momentarily here. I also want to talk about, and we'll talk more about radar here momentarily as well, but I want to talk about the travel conditions around Oklahoma. And again, The very latest, we just got an update in here. There's not a lot that's changed. But again, officially from ODOT, slick and hazardous, travel discouraged in the Panhandle, far northwestern Oklahoma. Slick spots in the yellow, west central into central, up towards the Tulsa Metro. I would argue out on I-40, we've seen several locations now from Weatherford out to Elk City with Mike's live video where, in my opinion, it would probably be slick and hazardous. So if you live out in west central Oklahoma, there's been much more in the way of accumulating snow out there. Definitely exercise caution if you have to travel again out in that part of the state. But I would say it's most likely discouraged again in west central Oklahoma, also northwestern Oklahoma. There's just been much more in the way of snow there. So back here in central Oklahoma from downtown Oklahoma City here, again, you can continue to see that moderate snow in progress. We'll call these near whiteout conditions, not quite as heavy as it was, maybe an hour ago here in central Oklahoma. But the other story today is the temperatures here. And again, you see live temperatures. We're essentially just now hitting that freezing point in central Oklahoma. Now, of course, you never have to be at freezing to have snow, but a lot of times if you get to freezing and then just slightly below the elevated surfaces like grass and trees, the snow will accumulate a little bit easier on those. That was the case overnight last night where we were essentially below freezing. Weatherford, it's currently only 29 degrees out there. So again, the locations that did see snow overnight last night, because the grass, because the trees were chilled down a little bit more, we are seeing more in the way of accumulation, much less in the way of accumulation here in central Oklahoma. But we have had heavy snow here. We just haven't had much in the way of accumulation because we've essentially been right there at that 33, 32 degree mark, and the grass, the trees, they're just not really at that freezing level. Here are more live temperatures around the state. Lots of 20s here. Again, temperatures drifting down to near freezing even in central Oklahoma. Anywhere from 28 to right around 30 in western Oklahoma. Now, southeastern Oklahoma, different story there, generally 40s, and we're only talking about a chilly rain, again, in that part of the state. So winds here, this has been the other factor today. Northerly winds, you see live wind gusts 30 to near 40 miles per hour out there in western Oklahoma. That is aggravating the wind chill factors. We've also seen some blowing snow on some of Mike's shots as well with those gusty northerly winds. But look at these wind chill factors here. Teens generally in western Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma, 19 to right around 23 here in central Oklahoma. So anytime you start getting wind chill factors in the teens, it is dangerously cold. So a dangerously cold afternoon now shaping up across Oklahoma. So the snow, as we go through the rest of the morning, will continue to track off to the east. As we get into the afternoon, the snow tapers off quickly, pushes out of Oklahoma. Your evening commute by 5 p.m. in central Oklahoma, the Tulsa Metro, the snow should be over, but the roadways will still be damp, and the way it looks right now, we will be below freezing. So again, make sure you give yourself still plenty of time even on your evening commute as well. So through noon, I think the heavier snow bands stay in central Oklahoma, pushing over into portions of northeastern Oklahoma. Again, chilly rain showers continue down across portions of southeastern Oklahoma. Temperatures continue to chill down as we go through the day today. Snow pushes out of Oklahoma, but again, temperatures will continue to drop. They'll actually go in reverse as we go through the afternoon. 31 in central Oklahoma by noon, but down to 29 by your evening commute. Again, we'll taper down those snow chances as we go through the day. 1 to 3 inches of snow will be common in central Oklahoma. Again, we're not getting a lot of it to stick, even though we had the potential there. The ground temperatures are just a little bit too warm. You get north and you get west of the Oklahoma City Metro, it's a different story. North central Oklahoma, widespread 3-inch amounts. West central Oklahoma 3 to even some possibly 6. I think we need to pull that red down there into portions of west central Oklahoma. And again, you're seeing that in real time. What I'm telling you in our tracker shots up around the Stillwater area, 2-3 inches possible there. And again, you're seeing what Mike has out there in west central Oklahoma as well. We're going to get another update from Mike out there coming up momentarily. So winter weather impacts here as we go through the day. It's primarily going to be the bridges and the overpasses. We'll put those at moderate, but again, there are still slick spots out there as well. Wind chill factors in the danger zone as we go through today and tonight. The other big story as we do head into tonight, after the snow ends, the skies will clear, and with some of that snow on the ground, it's going to set the stage for a dangerously cold night across Oklahoma from 10 degrees above zero in the north to right around plus 17 in central Oklahoma, some 20s down in the south. Again, these are air temperature lows. Those are not wind chill factors. Wind chill factors will be from 0 to right around 10 across a good portion of Oklahoma. So again, a dangerously cold night. Outdoor pets, livestock, animals, definitely keep them in mind as well. Dangerously cold for them shaping up tonight as well. So then as we get into tomorrow, a better weather day tomorrow, the sun does return. It will still be cold out there, 30s and 40s around, but again, the clouds, the snow, that will be long gone. And again, that brilliant Oklahoma sun will return after this storm system finally moves away. Talking about the rest of your work week here, again, we have an area of high pressure that begins to build back in, and temperatures will begin to moderate. So kind of a stabilizing weather pattern as we go through most of the rest of your work week. So for today, again, it's a 100% chance of snow. We've seen that happen out there so far this morning. Again, dangerously cold. Really want to highlight that tonight. Pipe bursting cold, down to 17 here in central Oklahoma. But again, you can see really through the rest of your work week, lots of sunshine, and temperatures slowly moderate back there through the 50s. So if you don't like the winter weather, changes are on the way, and there could even possibly be even some 60s deeper there into the 12-day. By the way, a typical high for this time of year would be right around 63, 62 going forward. So again, you can see temperatures are running well below normal. So to get back in the 60s, that would not be much of a stretch. That's typically where we should be this time of year. So let's go and get another update from the trackers of what's going on. We'll also do a radar update again here momentarily as well. But Mike, I want to check back in western Oklahoma. There's just been quite a bit more snow out there. We've had the overturned semi out there. Traffic is now being diverted through Elk City. But Mike, tell us where you are now and give us another update from out there in west central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. I'm actually trying to get back where maybe I can get a shot of that overturned semi, a little better shot for you. But I've actually had to turn on the lighting on the truck. William, these roads are deteriorating out here. These roads have definitely become just straight slick and hazardous now. Where they're snow packed and there's been traffic on them, they are. I mean, there's no other way to put it other than slick and hazardous. So, again, guys, the road conditions appear to be deteriorating throughout the day here. So, again, please do not be out if you don't have to. This is definitely not a situation you want to be in. I mean, I'm seeing people, like behind me, I'm seeing pickups that are going up hills sideways now. So this is very dangerous out here. It's definitely not worth it to be out if you don't have to be. So again, be very careful if you do have to travel. But again, I'm going to try to get a shot of that overturned semi here, William.
Okay, Mike, really appreciate it. And again, you can see the roads. It's a totally different story. If you're here in central Oklahoma, it's a totally different story out in western Oklahoma. And I would agree with you, Mike. I mean, those are slick and hazardous roads. Officially from ODOT, we kind of keep our travel map updated based off of what the guidance they give us. But I mean, again, from your video that we're seeing there are some slick and hazardous spots out in western Oklahoma. So the bottom line is, if you don't have to travel out in western Oklahoma, if we're able to just kind of stay in, that's the best course of action as we at least go through mid-morning. Because I can tell you, there are definitely areas out there 4 to 6 inches. There's blowing snow still because the winds are gusting over 40 miles per hour in western Oklahoma. And again, wind chill factors are about plus 15. So again, this is an outright winter storm we're seeing live right now in western Oklahoma. Again, a much different story here in central Oklahoma. We've seen snow as we went through the morning. We've seen some heavy snow as we've gone through the morning, but the difference here in central Oklahoma was our temperatures were just above freezing. And I've said this a couple times, you don't have to be below freezing to get snow, but a lot of times if you're below freezing for maybe an hour or two before it starts snowing, the grass and the trees are able to kind of chill down, and as it snows, it's able to accumulate on those surfaces easier. And the fact that we were essentially above freezing the entire time it was snowing here, even though we got some fairly heavy snow, it just didn't necessarily stick as much in central Oklahoma. But again, you can just see here, it's a totally different story out in western Oklahoma at times. And again, you can just see the snow blowing. It's not active snow still coming down, but again, the 40-mile-per-hour winds, they're actually whipping that snow around. And from time to time, even on I-40, we saw some near whiteout conditions from Russ there. And again, there's another example of it right there. And, again, we also have the overturned semi out there around Elk City as well. Mike's trying to get back kind of to that. At the time when he came up on it, he wasn't really at a safe place where he could stop there. But again, he'll try and have us a shot of that coming up momentarily. But I-40 is closed there in Elk City. Mike, was it eastbound I-40 that was closed? Was that the side? I believe it was eastbound I-40.
Negative, William. I'm here. I'm here, William.
Go ahead.
That's going to be westbound I-40, William.
Okay.
Eastbound is still clear and moving at this time, but that's going to be westbound. I-40 is closed down. It'll be the last Elk City exit with any real services that they're detouring traffic off of I-40 and onto that roadway. I'm kind of mixed in with the I-40 traffic right now, just trying to get back to the eastbound lanes where hopefully I can get a shot of that semi.
Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to check right back in with Mike. You're kind of repositioning there a little bit. I just don't want to lose track of what we're also seeing up around the Stillwater area, and that's where Aaron Spencer is. Aaron, I know you've been waiting patiently there in the live line. You're up around the Stillwater area. You drove around central Oklahoma as we went through the morning, and, there wasn't a whole lot going on in central Oklahoma. We had quite a bit of snow, but again, luckily, not a lot of it really stuck, and there weren't any major travel impacts. There were a few wrecks around the metro, but again, knock on wood, there haven't been any major impacts as we've gone through the morning. So that's been good. So now you're up north of the metro. In fact, you're up around the Stillwater area driving around, and there's been some fairly heavy snow up around Stillwater. Tell us exactly where you are now and give us an update.
Yes, William. I am traveling west on 6th Avenue right now, just coming out of downtown Stillwater, about to cross over Western. As we were going through downtown Stillwater, there was a higher amount of accumulated snow that is still on the ground, and that we're now getting back into the snow flurries. But I would say, William, it was at least 2.5 to 3 inches on the ground in downtown Stillwater. So definitely a big change from Oklahoma City to Guthrie to now Stillwater. Again, a big change in accumulated snow, as well as the temperatures. That's why we're able to have more of that accumulated snow stay on the ground, unlike we did over in north parts of Norman, where most of the snow was already melting as it was hitting the ground. But right now, we are here in Stillwater. We're sitting at exactly 30 degrees, so we're just below freezing. So that's why we're still able to see some of these flurries come down, as well as have the snow accumulated on the ground just a little bit more. William, back to you.
Okay, really appreciate that update there, Aaron, and great job again as we've gone through the morning. Again, really covering a lot of real estate, if you will. Let's do a radar update here quickly as well. Let's get everyone caught up with what's going on radar. So the moderate snow bands are now beginning to push out of central Oklahoma. We actually still have some moderate snow down here in Norman. There's a little bit right there along the I-240 corridor, and then essentially from Edmond up through Guthrie, the I-35 corridor, all the way up through the Orlando exit. There's some moderate snow, and again, even where Aaron is there in Stillwater, Stillwater's had quite a bit of snow as we've gone through the morning. Moderate snow in progress there as well. And then essentially from the Turner Turnpike exit in Oklahoma City all the way up through Tulsa, there's snow in progress, including the Stroud, Bristow, the Sapulpa exits, all those. Again, there's snow in progress. Heavy snow currently being reported in downtown Tulsa. Also on the southern sides of town, it's finally transitioned all the way to snow down around the Jinx and Bixby area, back over through Coweta and Wagner now reporting snow as well. Snow is as far south as Okmulgee. That's basically pushing down towards the I-40 corridor. So right now, the Coweta exit back over through Salisaw, it's still currently a chilly rain, but that's going to try and transition over to snow, including the Gore exit there just south of Lake Tenkiller as well. So again, here in central Oklahoma, snow trying to wind down some, trying to kind of taper down from what we saw earlier this morning. Essentially the I-35 corridor, Perry, all the way back up through the Bremen area. That's going to be up there around Ponca City. Still some intermittent snow showing up back over through Enid, also back up through Grant County, Medford, Nash, Pond Creek, some of those hometowns. Still seeing some at times moderate snow, and then even back over through Cherokee, Alfalfa County, Woods County, and back over through Buffalo, where we still have technically a winter storm warning in effect. and that's going to be there for portions of Harper County. And then as we go back down through Woodward, getting back here into portions of northwestern Oklahoma, again, a lot of the snow trying to taper off. Again, you see where Mike is right there in Elk City. Snow kind of winding down, tapering off. Fox also back over through the Weatherford exit there as well. Going down around the Lawton area, also snow beginning to taper down. There has been quite a bit of snow down around the Wichita Mountains. That was earlier this morning. So down around L-Town, there's been some snow, and then basically just some chilly rain with a few snowflakes mixed in down around the Ardmore area. Also Thackerville down there by the WinStar Casino, the big casino down there in south central Oklahoma. I want to get back over to Mike here. I believe he's back on I-40. I think he's coming up on that overturned semi that we had. So Mike, you're on the live line with us. You're out there around the Elk City area. Again, maybe 20 minutes ago, we had an overturned semi. It was westbound I-40, and traffic was then being diverted into Elk City. And I believe you're slowly coming back up on it. There it is on the right-hand side of the screen. Mike, go and give us an update.
Yes, William. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving here. County went ahead and kind of flagged me to keep moving here. But they do have a semi backed up right. It's still blocking the roadway. They're getting the semi, trying to get it cleared right now. Again, I-40 is still shut down at this time because the semi, you'll see it in the shot, is still across the roadway. But the good news is they do have it back up right, William. So it's going to progress and get cleared up here. But the other problem is now is with the traffic that is stopped, I'm seeing in between the kind of rows of cars, in between them, snow is piling up right now. So, again, they're going to play a little bit of havoc just trying to get these roads back cleared up once this traffic is able to move again. And actually, I'm seeing, where it looks like people have rapidly stopped due to this accident, and their vehicles kind of parked even a little bit sideways and stuff like that. So that'll tell you these roads are deteriorating out here. They are getting slick and dangerous. So if you don't have to be out, please don't be out. I'm actually going to start making my way back east, William, and see how the roads are doing a little bit farther east again. So I'm going to be heading back towards the Weatherford area. Hopefully that shot was there for you guys to see. But they are getting I-40 cleared up here, and traffic will be moving again probably within the next 20 to 30 minutes at least, William.
Yeah, but you can definitely see the backup there, which obviously is not good. Again, temperatures out there, and right around 29, wind chill factors right around 15. And again, we've got a northerly wind right around 40 miles per hour. But again, that just kind of underscores the fact that as you're driving down the interstate, just like Mike is right now, everything for the most part looks okay. But again, it just takes that one slick spot to really cause issues. And, you don't know where that slick spot is. I don't know where that slick spot is. Nobody really knows where that one slick spot is until you or someone driving close to you hits it, and that's when we start running into these issues. And that seems like that's always the case on these winter weather events. So not a good situation. We'll definitely keep that driver there in our thoughts and prayers with that whole situation. But again, overturned semi there on I-40 westbound near Elk City, and again, traffic being diverted into Elk City and around that traffic snarl. That's why you basically see the backup there kind of stop, because further on down the road, the OHP is now diverting traffic directly off of I-40 through Elk City and then back on I-40 once they're past that traffic snarl there. So again, not a good situation. Again, here in central Oklahoma, for the most part, we were semi-unfazed. Not a lot of travel issues this morning. There were some accidents, but nothing really major. And then even as far as the accumulations go, I'm looking from out our studio window here. We're in downtown Norman, Collier, and West Main Street. And even in Norman, it snowed pretty heavily earlier this morning, but not a lot of this really stuck or really accumulated in central Oklahoma. But again, you get into western Oklahoma, it's a totally different story. You're seeing that right there from Mike Russ, and then even from Aaron Spencer. And I want to go back up to Aaron because he's in the Stillwater area. It's a completely different story up there as well, night and day as far as accumulating snow goes. Aaron, you're up in the Stillwater area. Again, tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us a live update from that part of the state as well.
Yes, William. We are traveling on West 6th Avenue still, heading back towards I-35 to go back south, then kind of head back towards the Guthrie area. But as of right now, I do not see any accumulating snow, especially hitting the wind chill. So that's kind of where we're at with that. The road conditions are still, pretty good. I have not seen another ODOT truck since we saw one earlier, whenever we gave you guys that report as we were coming into Stillwater. But again, there might be a couple flurries here and there as we're still heading back over to I-35. From what I've seen, there might be one small little band that's left that might be able to make it through over here in the Logan County area. But other than that, it looks like the snow is starting to slowly taper off as it gets on into the early part of the afternoon. And as you guys know, the snow started and ended. So definitely a good thing that we didn't have very many road problems here in central Oklahoma like over in western Oklahoma did. William, back to you.
Quick question for you. What would you guesstimate at least the snowfall amounts up there around the Stillwater area? On radar, there were some pretty good snow bands that came through there this morning, but as you're just, again, kind of guesstimating it, driving there, what would you guesstimate the accumulating snow there around the Stillwater area?
Well, over in the downtown Stillwater area, I wouldn't doubt that there was at least 3 inches. In some areas, where the heavier snow bands went through. But further out here in western parts of the outskirts of Stillwater, I'm estimating probably around 1.5 to 2 inches. There's still a fairly good amount on the ground, but then again, it's a little bit cooler up here than it was over in Oklahoma City. So that's why we're able to guesstimate the amounts up here other than in Oklahoma City where it melted and just kept falling. William?
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. And again, great job. Again, you covered the Oklahoma City metro this morning. Now you're up there around the Stillwater area, so you've just kind of been blowing and going all over the place this morning. So really appreciate that there. Let's go and talk about road conditions again here. And as we do that, this is officially from ODOT, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. The areas of yellow, those are areas of slick spots. That means there could potentially be some slick spots around most of western, central, up around the Tulsa metro now as well. Officially from them as well, we have slick and hazardous in the panhandle of northwestern Oklahoma. I would also argue portions of western Oklahoma, especially from what we've seen with Mike, are slick and hazardous. If you live out in western Oklahoma, you don't have to travel today. I would stay in, stay warm, stay safe, because I think there are some slick and hazardous spots in western Oklahoma, in my humble opinion, out there. So definitely keep that in mind. Western Oklahoma, still possibly some slick spots here in central Oklahoma, but just not as bad as other parts of the state for sure. So downtown Oklahoma City here, again, a lot of the snow we've seen through the morning kind of tapering off now. You can still see a little bit of snow in progress, but from time to time, we had some near whiteout conditions where you couldn't even see the skyline there in the background, again, because it was snowing so hard. Air temperatures just now easing down below freezing here in central Oklahoma. Will Rogers officially now at 30, 31 in Edmond, 32 here in Norman. We were primarily above freezing as we went through the morning, so the grassy surfaces, the trees, they weren't really super chilled down. That's why we didn't have a lot of accumulation in central Oklahoma, but in western Oklahoma, it was a different story out there, where they've had temperatures generally in the upper 20s throughout the night. The grass was colder, the trees were chilled down, and again, a lot more in the way of accumulation in that part of the state. That's also the case in northern Oklahoma, up where Aaron is as well. The winds continue to come in from the north here, and the winds are really howling here at mid-morning, gusting 30 to near 40 miles per hour in western Oklahoma. We've seen some blowing snow in some of Mike's shots because of those gusty winds. But they're also aggravating the wind chill factors here as well. Wind chill factors primarily in the teens in western and northern Oklahoma. Wind chill factors now in central Oklahoma primarily in the teens as well. You get those wind chill factors in the teens. That is dangerously cold for humans, but also for your outdoor pets, your outdoor animals, your livestock, your cattle. Just really want to underscore that one more time, that we now have some dangerously cold conditions building in as far as the wind chill factors go. But even as we get into tonight, the overnight lows, those will also be dangerously cold across parts of Oklahoma. I'll show you that coming up momentarily. So the snow is going to continue to push east as we go through the day today. Again, gradually tapering off in central Oklahoma, also up around the Tulsa metro as well. And so it will quickly move on out. Again, by your evening commute, central Oklahoma, the Tulsa metro, the snow essentially done. However, the roadways may still be damp and we will be below freezing. So keep that in mind. So through noon today, the heaviest snow continues to look across portions of central, but now really pushing over into portions of northeastern Oklahoma. Only a chilly rain down in southeastern parts of the state. The snow continues to push east through the afternoon. We've essentially been at our daytime highs. Temperatures are only going to go in reverse or backwards as we go through the rest of the day today. Blustery northerly winds continue. Here in central Oklahoma, we'll taper off those snow chances as we go through the day from 31 at noon all the way down to 29. Wind chill factors really settling in for your evening commute. So there's been widespread 1 to 3 inch amounts across portions of north central and west central Oklahoma, 3 to 6 possible across portions of northwestern Oklahoma. But even west central Oklahoma, I think that red needs to come down just a little bit more, because in that part of the state, just like we've seen with Mike, some of his video, we have had some 6-inch amounts. So 1 to 3 common in northern Oklahoma, and anywhere from 1 to 2 to maybe even 6-inch amounts fairly common across portions of far western Oklahoma. Again, here in central Oklahoma, even though we did have the heavy snow as we went through the morning, again, most of it just did not stick again to those at least warmer grassy surfaces. So bridges and overpasses, that's going to be the primary concern still, even as we go through the day, especially in western and northern Oklahoma. Some of those roads, use caution on those as well. And then wind chill factors, that is in the danger zone, again, as we go through today and also tonight. Now, as we get into tonight, the other piece of this weather puzzle, or the other part of this weather story, it is going to be the overnight lows tonight. Go and take a look at these here. But in northern Oklahoma, we'll be from 10 degrees above zero to right around plus 17 in central Oklahoma, 20s down in the south. So it will be a dangerously cold night, not wind chills, actual overnight lows. But again, for our farmer friends, our rancher friends, again, just want to underscore the fact, again, cattle, livestock, and do what you can to winterize them as we go through the day today before tonight. And then tomorrow, the one thing you like about tomorrow is we do have some sun. It will build back in, but it's not going to make for much of a warmer day. In fact, it's going to be another fairly cold day, 30s and 40s generally for highs tomorrow. But as we really go deeper through your work week, this storm system, you see it right there, that will quickly pull away. We have a bit of a ridge developed, and we have kind of a zonal pattern develop. And, well, basically what that means when you're talking about the jet stream flow means more of a stable weather pattern that we're going to go into, and, well, temperatures will slowly rebound as well. So you're seeing that there in the updated 12-day forecast. Again, for today, obviously, snow likely. It's been snowing throughout the morning. Dangerously cold tonight, 17 for an overnight low. But then as we go through most of this week, plentiful sunshine, and, again, those temperatures slowly but surely rebounding as we go through the work week there as well. So let's go and do this. Let's go and get another update from our team of trackers. I want to start out in western Oklahoma. Mike, Russ, you've been out there around the Elk City area. There's been a lot going on out there over the last 30 minutes. You had an overturned semi on I-40 westbound out around Elk City. But tell us where you are now, and go and give us another update.
Yes, William. I'm going to be heading back eastbound. I'm now about to pass Canute again. That's about 7 miles east of Elk City, Oklahoma. Now, as I've driven farther east again, it appears road conditions have gotten a little bit better. Again, however, this wind is still just it's playing havoc with everybody out here, and especially on these wet and possibly icy roadways. That, it kind of makes me wonder if that wasn't part of the cause of that semi overturning, because these winds are tremendous out here for a winter weather event. So again, conditions are still, I'm going to say, they are slick and hazardous out here, William. No two ways about it. Definitely not something you want to mess around with. If you don't have to be out, don't be out. If you do, take your time. Be very careful out here, as this is still a very dangerous situation out here in western Oklahoma, William.
Mike, yeah, really appreciate that update. And again, great job, doing a great job covering western Oklahoma, again, as we've gone through really the morning. And western Oklahoma really took it on the chin, again, with a lot of this accumulating snow and even some of the traffic snarls that we've seen, again, out there in western Oklahoma through the morning as well. I want to do this. I want to also check back in with Aaron Spencer. He's up around the Stillwater area, but Aaron, I think you're on the move. Tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us another update from your location there as well.
Yes, William. I am headed southbound just past Mulhall exit, the one that we passed about 30 to 45 minutes ago. We're heading back towards Guthrie right now, and as we're now seeing the interstate conditions, they're still about the same that they were earlier whenever we were driving them. Still a little bit damp. The traffic is definitely traveling at a little bit of a higher rate of speed, definitely because you can see just a little bit better and the roads are drier than what they were earlier. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be slick spots still, because again, it is right at the freezing mark. So bridges and overpasses are still, there's still a possibility that they could be slick. So definitely be careful, if you have to drive from work, or if you're getting the kids from school early or later on this evening, late afternoon actually, whenever you're getting the kids from school. Definitely be careful with that. But we're coming through that looks to be last band of snow that is not coming through parts of Logan County, and looks about 1.5 miles to 2 miles in front of me. It looks like it's going to be getting just a little bit heavier, so we're getting back into that stronger band of snow. Well, back to you.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. And again, great job. Like I mentioned, Aaron really covered central Oklahoma, the entire Oklahoma City metro, kind of drove it as we went through the morning as the snow was kind of settling in. He gave us coverage of all of that. And now, again, he went just to the north, again, covering the Stillwater area, the Mulhall area, that's northern Logan County, again, where we've had just a little bit more in the way of accumulating snow as we've gone through the morning. Quick radar update here as well. We'll kind of zoom this out a little bit. And a lot of the snow, and Mike, yeah, I hear you. Go ahead, Mike. Let's go and check back in with Mike Russ out there in west central Oklahoma. Mike, go ahead and give us an update.
Yes, William. I just got a report from the Hydro Fire Department that mile marker 96 westbound on I-40 is also shut down right outside of Hydro. If I'm correct, that's going to be just east of Hydro, Oklahoma. I-40 is shut down due to another overturned semi blocking all lanes of traffic.
So there's been several traffic snarls again out there on I-40, and again that's kind of the unfortunate thing because on days like today where we do have winter weather, but you're driving and you can see the roadways here from our storm trackers. They kind of look okay, if you will. In the back of your mind, you got to use exercise caution because there could be some slick spots, but where that slick spot is, you don't know, I don't know, nobody knows, and it basically just takes hitting that one slick spot to cause a travel issue. And again, that's what we've primarily seen through the morning. Now, we haven't had a lot of major accidents. We did have some in the Oklahoma City metro earlier. Mike just had the overturned semi there on I-40. Sounds like there's another one around the Hydro exit there on I-40. So there are some issues, and again, that's why we just like to underscore, if you don't have to get out and about, if you don't have to travel on a day like today, just stay indoors, stay warm, stay safe, and just kind of let this winter weather pass on by. But we are starting to kind of wind it down. We're starting to kind of taper off the snow, at least here in central Oklahoma. And again, you can see that with radar here. Still scattered activity up in northern Oklahoma, scattered areas of snow, but for the most part, the bulk of the active snow is now pushing over into portions of northeastern Oklahoma, again over there around the Tulsa metro, even now around Muskogee to the north. So again, we're talking about basically the Turner Turnpike and then what becomes the Will Rogers Turnpike as you're leaving Tulsa going to the northeast. Fairly solid areas of snow there. But again, western Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, we're kind of slowly transitioning now and winding down that snow. And that will be the general trend through the morning and the early afternoon. We'll begin to kind of taper that snow on down as we go through time. So here's what we're going to do. We've been on live with you really throughout most of the morning covering this. We're going to give our storm trackers a chance to kind of take a break. I'm going to take a break as well. We don't have any new weather information to pass. And again, you can see by radar, the bulk of the heavier snow continues to lift off there to the northeast. So we'll have another live update as needed. Also, don't forget a completely updated look at your forecast. That's coming up today at noon. Be sure to join me then for that. Otherwise, again, great job to our storm trackers. And of course, thanks for watching our coverage here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Again, we'll have more updates as needed. If not, be sure to join me at noon. Keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.